Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a very quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Chris Wouters, Omishertha, Naughty Thumbnails, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unamento, M, Iron26, Eric Troche, Endless, Flat Earth Sage, Goldie McKinnon, Retro Bill, Level Plane Poem, Canna Bear, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Tina Baker, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. And now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Yeah, you got to realize sometimes you walk in on a conversation when you come in on the panel. Sometimes there's a conversation going on Discord.
And so just tell me what you're talking about.
So you can't just come in and steamroll the conversation that's going on in Discord.
Hey Nathan, start freaking joining G Plus first instead of the peanut gallery. The freak, man. Just tell me what's going on. That's all. Just continue talking. What kind of shit is this? Don't
That's
freaking
right.
get my balls twisted today, please.
Well, it's better on Discord. What do you want? And I'm on Discord and I'm running Discord. What do you mean join the Hangouts? How does that make any sense, Neil? Anyways, I'm going to have to step out for a bit. I'll be back, I don't know when. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Did you just tell him off for stepping on a conversation and then run away?
Well, I noticed every time Neil comes on, he's like, oh, nobody else is talking, even though they might be talking. And it's all of a sudden about Neil. And that's it. It's like, well, wait a second. I'm going to try to encourage Discord to talk. I'm going to try to encourage Discord participation.
Outrageous.
Isn't that where all the people are?
Yes.
Yeah, so let's if there's a conversation going, let's try to fit in with the conversation. We were talking about the show and how the show is not growing, right? Because this guy's coming in and he's talking and he's saying, hey, wait a second, this is like the tip of the spear, and the argument is very advanced. So why is it not growing?
Did you say the show isn't? Yeah, it is growing. My show's growing.
It's
every arrow.
Not really.
Yeah, it is. I've got the stats. I know my stats. Don't question me on my stats. Yeah, every arrow, if I go to YouTube Studio, is pointing upwards with one exception. That's the amount of money I get. That is pointing downwards, if I'm ruthlessly honest. So not every arrow is pointing up, but the amount of views, the amount of watch time, the amount of subscribers, all of those metrics, every metric with the exception of how much money I actually make is up. I assure you.
All right, but why is Flatzoids taking you, like, why is he getting like such high views and he's just a new guy? And you've been around for how long and you're not getting as many views?
Hold on a minute. What's so high views?
Well, when you compare Flatzoid's views and your views, and he just came on the scene, he's getting way more increase than you. Can you see that? Is that true? Or
you said he's getting more views. What do you mean by views? Do you mean there's a individual?
I mean
video
the way he's increasing, right? The way he's moving up, right? Because he just started, and for him to be getting almost as many viewers as you for being new is saying we're lagging behind.
Is he?
What? What do I say?
Ask him how many views he got this month, and I'll tell you how many I got, and you can tell me if he's growing beyond me or not. If that's the case, then maybe I need to be worried.
Well, I just opened the channel, like open your channel, open his channel, and I just compared some of the views, and I'm like, wait a second,
Oh, right.
what's going on here?
So you've compared
Maybe
a
I'm not
video.
seeing something.
Means
Not
nothing.
video, it's just like the whole page, just the home
It
page.
doesn't mean anything. I'm just trying to tell you what a metric, if you're going to say, quote, views, you look at the month, last 28 days, and go, how many views? This channel's had 66.1 thousand views in the last 28 days. So, if you will, just ask Flatsoid if he's even slightly concerned with growing his YouTube channel. He'll know his metrics. Say, in the last 28 days, how many views did you have? If he's getting 80,000 views, where I'm getting 66,000 views, then yeah, I might concern myself. However, if he goes, well, I got 17,000 views in the last 28 days, I'll go, no, you're wrong. He's not getting more views. You might have one video that got up to 1,300 views, where most of mine reach 900 on a daily basis. You know, maybe, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's getting more views. It doesn't work like that. There's lots of metrics to look at.
Also, he talks bullcrap.
No, don't do that. Also, the growth metric is not the same at each stage of growth. There's spurts within the metrics.
He has Craig Fight the Tight shirt on constantly when he first started. He talks about Feast of Nonsense stuff. Why does Whitson have more views? Look what he's talking about. Nobody wants to hear Earth is measured flat all day long. They want the nonsense. Come on, this is obvious.
You're making assumptions about growth and all these things. So far, there has been one metric given. That's mine. For the last 28 days. Now, typically, I've got to be honest, I don't like giving out my metrics, right, to the public, and this is being recorded. But fine, just to make a point, right, you can check, you can see, you can ask. Just ask him, hey, Fatsoid, how many views did your channel get in the last 28 days? It's that easy.
I'm just going by what I heard. I really don't. There's no comparison to me, but if you want to compare, say he is, maybe the reason is because of the things he talks about. People want to hear that. You know that, Nathan. Come on, the people that are shouting the loudest with the largest amount of truth, they're going to get the smallest amount of views compared to people speaking about nonsense.
Can we stop this, quantifying it in views? Because I've got stats, and I literally look at them daily. So hearing this speculation, it does my head in. No.
I said if. Because okay. I come on and Righteous is saying,
I don't want to hear about it.
Blowing you away.
Hello. I don't want to hear about if when you're talking about statistical analysis. Just give me the stats and I'll compare them. It really is that simple.
Well, that's Righteous. He came in telling me to shut the freak up. There's a conversation going on, and now telling you you're lagging.
It was in the middle of trying to tell us that he was about to leave in a second. You completely interrupted him. It was very rude.
How do I know if I'm just coming in? Start putting G Plus in first, and then bring them in.
Why are you the favoured race?
It's not that, because G Plus, there's no conversation going on. So it'd be better to bring us in. And then we're in, and then they come in, and we could get right into what the hell they're talking about.
I see. You feel like you deserve priority, Neil.
That's not what I just said. You know what I just said.
I know what you just said.
There's nobody talking in G Plus because I'm in here first, and they come straggling in.
That's so
There's
insulting.
very rarely a conversation going on like in Discord. That's all I'm saying. And to avoid me getting pissed off at freaking 8 o'clock in the morning at Righteous, maybe just give us the link first.
Okay, if you want, no worries. If that's what you desire. Your wish is my command, Neil. Thank you for the coffee.
I don't mean it that way, Nathan. You do your show, you know that. I don't mean that. But just makes a little more sense. Like, I know what the hell's going on. I come in, I see your thing, that Eddie Bravo contacted you. That should be the main topic. What the hell were they talking about?
Might not be. I've got a new phone. Now, don't get me wrong, there's not a great deal of international people who text me. So I'm pretty sure it's him. But I actually, my reply was, "Who's this?" Yeah, I'm sure I will be on your podcast. You sound lovely, because he's complimenting me on my short videos. But he's not stored in my phone, so it could be some random for all I know.
Right. And just to defend
Wait,
myself, I heard when I came in, contacted him. So I figured that was a topic. All right, Righteous? Is that good enough for you?
Hey, let's just
Hold on a
on my way
minute.
out.
But you're saying some random may have texted you from America on your phone?
Probably not. I don't give my phone number to anybody. I rarely even carry my phone around, if I'm ruthlessly honest. But so no, it seems unlikely it would be anybody other than him. And to be perfectly frank, I think it's the third or fourth time he's texted me, and every time, for whatever reason, his information hasn't showed up on my phone. So I've gone, "Who's this?" I think it's the fourth time I've done it. Like, "Who's this? Who are you?" Every time he texts me, the response back is, "Who are you?"
Well, we know
Well,
he thinks your show's the. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
as far as for communication purposes, just say yes. And if you're given a link, to join his podcast or a number to call, because I don't think he's going to fly you out. He may. Oh my God, that'd be awesome for you. But
I don't want to fly
He's-
out.
he's not going to fly you.
No,
Huh?
thanks. No, got two little kiddies.
Why do you got to fly out? Today's technology,
Yeah.
you just put you right on with them.
Would you fly over here if I was like, "Yeah, it's going to take out, you can be away from your kids for 4 days"? Would you say yes?
I wouldn't know, but I'm saying you don't have to fly out to join somebody on a show.
Are they paying
Well, this is
for it?
different because this is your career. Hold on. This is your career. If my job told me I needed to fly to Europe to do something, I would do it. This is
Yeah.
your career, though. So that's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm saying.
Nathan's been
And that's
there
a
and
big,
done that.
oh my
Come
I
on,
have
stop it,
actually.
John.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely right, Neil. Today, my youngest daughter came up to me and gave me 2 little hearts that she'd cut out and asked me to be her Valentine. I almost cried. When they're
And
4,
you should.
they are so adorable when they're 4 years old, and I don't want to miss a single second of it. So if someone asked me to go out right now, I'd probably say no, no matter who it was. I'd be like, "No, can't we do it over the Skype? Isn't it? I've got a camera if you insist, although I look a bit rough."
Nathan, is this about
You
Eddie
don't get
Bravo?
that time back.
Oh, this La La Land lads are going into "Maybe I'll Fly You Out" bollocks, Willie. What, for a podcast? No.
Only one guy said that. I said you've been there, done that. Why would you start doing that again? And you don't get this time back. It is precious.
Yeah, it's a difficult conversation with my wife because my wife hasn't done much international travel, and me, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Whenever she suggests it, I'm like, "Oh no!" And she'll say a country, and I'll go, "Oh, it's awful," and then I'll describe all the horrible things about it. Because typically, when you go to a country and you're a rep, you get to see the non-touristy side of whatever place you're going. And the rep that you're meeting or the contact that you've got there will want to show you around. So on the one hand, they want to show off the good places, you know what I mean? But by the same token, you're going to the normal restaurants that normal people, because they're normal people in that particular place doing their normal stuff, and they're just incorporating you into it while you do business with them. So you get to see a very different side of most places you go. Now, don't get me wrong, most places have got touristy bits, which is where you go when you go on holiday, but I've got a vague recollection of a lot of countries, and I'm like, no, my country's best. Like most people, right? I'm quite patriotic. I think I live in a fantastic country.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. As
I know
far
what
as
you're talking about.
we were talking about growth.
Yeah, you're right. I understand what you're saying. In any event, it might not be the person we think it is, and if it is, then wonderful. Be nice to chat to him. As I'm going to be chatting with JLB today. should be my focus, really. Don't know how. I think he's got a Discord server, so he'll probably just give me a Discord link, I would imagine. I've set a timer to remind me half an hour before the time I said I'd be hooking up with him. So if I haven't had an email or something with a link to a Discord server, then I'll obviously have to start sending him emails.
Nathan, can I say something to you?
You can?
Right. Remember you were on that thing with Patrick Gunnels, that debate on Rumble,
Yes.
right? And straight after that, a load of people wanted to know who you were. And instead of just staying online for a couple of days, you decided to straight away to use the money that you got for doing the debate to change something within the computer or your amps or something. So there was no show for 3 or 4 days, right? When you should have stayed on so those people could find you and find a live show, right, which they were looking for. Now, if you're offered the opportunity to go to the US or wherever to be on a podcast, then don't turn it down. It's just a few days of your life. And if you do that, I mean, you're only one step away from a bigger podcast. If you don't do it, then there's no point in complaining about things not picking up.
Okay,
The opportunities
whatever.
the opportunities you're turning down.
Fine. Okay. No worries. I just don't think that's going to be what happens here. But in any event, yes, for future reference, thank you. I understand.
I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm just trying to be realistic with you. I'm sure you understand.
I was trying to be nasty, but
Fair enough. In either case, right, I don't think that's the scenario here, based on what at the moment is one rando texting me. That's what the scenario is. So, talking about flights and stuff is just a bit far-fetched for me, which is why I'm sort of decrying it immediately in the most polite and subtle way. No, I've got 2 kids. That's just the way of fobbing you off with the suggestion, John, as it was you that came up with it. I'm sure you appreciated that, but it's been dragged out now. Wonderful.
yeah, being as brutal as possibly can be. Worst case scenario, you have to fly out. Best case scenario, you double your growth within the next 2 months.
Maybe. Alternatively, I would continue as I have done for the last 10 years, which is monitoring my statistics nice and closely to see if there's any drops and then reacting to that. And obviously, time to time, making proactive attempts to make growth happen. Yeah, so, what else can you do? As long as you're consistently on the up and up, which is why I took a bit of objection when Righteous was inferring that there was, a downward turn in my statistics. I'm like, excuse me, God know about it, number one. Literally, it's the first thing I check when I wake up. I'm not even kidding. Comments and...
But as far as growth...
Sorry, go on.
As far as growth goes, though, you have it, like, in spurts, don't you? Like, large spurts and small spurts.
No, got very, very consistent growth.
Consistent growth.
Very consistent. Because I'm reactive. Being in sales, you look at those types of statistics quite frequently because you're paid based on them. So you get kind of accustomed to looking at trends in that regard. And I can just look at my channel in that regard really easily. And whenever you see a downturn, you go, right, got to address that. And then you pedal twice as fast. At the moment, I'm in a really weird position because I'm pedaling twice as fast because that's why I was so quick to say, no, the needles are all pointing up, I assure you. I've pedaled twice as fast and now they're all going up. Previously, when I've done that, so does the amount of money that comes in. That goes up too. It isn't. It's a bit crap at the moment, I've got to be honest. Again, and we're getting beyond that point of, just after Christmas where everyone's broke. We're just beyond that now, literally just beyond it. So I can't expect instantaneous, oh yes, I'm going to be back on track again with the financial income. But recently I read an article that was saying that YouTube were cutting the amount of revenue from ads full stop. So like, oh, well, maybe that's having a bit of a bearing as well. Who knows? But yeah, growth is growth, and I've kept it consistent through 10 years. Now, don't get me wrong, if you focused in on one particular time when you saw a spike, you're like, aha, there you go, there's a spurt of growth. You're like, yeah, but if you look at the trends over the time, it's pretty consistent. The thing that gets you the most growth is a fellow YouTuber recommending you. Yeah? Now, as counterintuitive as that may sound, right? When we do go to their channel, say at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, the reason I do that is because as far as they are concerned, if they're going to come here and go, wow, that's very negative, they're reacting badly to what I've said and disagreeing and debunking. However, in terms of the benefit, that if there was, if you're going to look at it from, well, what benefit did this serve me beyond them criticising me? I went out of my way to send audience members to you and build you in the algorithm. And that's made so overt to the videographer we're responding to, right? That is ultimately what every YouTuber wants. So I've kind of gone, if I was getting a response video, what would I want out of it? Well, ideally, you'd want them to mention my name in full with the channel name, directly tell the audience to come to my channel, and you'd give them an easy way of doing it, a link to do it. I'd be like, that's what I'd want from, I don't know, let's take a detractor, let's say Simon Dan. What would I want from Simon Dan? Ideally, makes my name and channel clear, puts a link for me to go, even if he's being incredibly critical. So you're like, okay, well, by that standard, if I'm going to be really critical of a fellow YouTuber, the least I can do is try and build them in the algorithm in the vain hope, as I put it to the audience, that they might do the same for me. Good news with regards to the computer, by the way, Brian. You still there?
1 minute, I'm just at the cashier's there. 1 second, Nathan. But I heard the basics of it, I think.
Yeah, I've got a
Chat away.
broken motherboard, and I'm getting a newer motherboard, which ultimately means it might as well be a whole new computer. But I've contacted my tech guy and gone, look, I've got the money to cover this. Order the parts that you've suggested would be a good, reliable replacement if you think they will work. So I've made a little caveat. Order them if you're happy they'll work. It better bloody work. So yeah. Maybe that'll happen by the end of the week. Maybe it'll be next week. We'll see. Best case scenario, it'll be happening while I'm out in America, right?
Uh-huh.
Because then I can come back and have no computer to live stream immediately with.
Nathan, everybody has big plans for you, Nathan. That's all.
There you go, Neil.
Everybody has big plans for you. 10th Man once told you, when this hits, it's going to hit, and you're going to be at the forefront.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
It just reminds me of a couple of characters from a TV series we have here called Only Fools and Horses. And one of the main characters, Dal, says to his brother, this time next year we'll be millionaires. They never are. They did after about 30
That's
years
not what we
shows.
said. That's not what we said.
And it's not what you
said
said. It's the
the message.
sentiment. It's the sentiment. Oh, my God. Yes, it's not what you said. I appreciate that. It just reminds me of a sentiment somebody held when they were working hard and trying to grow a little business as market traders. And they're just selling cheap tat wares to people in the pub and on the market. And the driving motivation for them is keep working hard and slogging your guts out, because one day we'll be millionaires doing this. One day, there's big plans for us and this business will grow and we'll all be millionaires eventually. That's the sentiment.
I got you. But that's not what we're saying. I love Nathan Oakley.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good to have you all. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
Can you demonstrate gas pressure without containment?
It's an antecedent-consequent relationship. You have to have containment to have gas pressure. And once you have gas pressure, you can develop things like gas pressure gradients. But it's an antecedent-consequent relationship. First, you have containment, then you have gas pressure.
So how are we breathing then?
Based on the antecedent.
I always think.
Go ahead, Brian.
I'm just saying. I always thought that maybe that question could have been asked refined differently. As in, is there any demonstration of gas pressure without a container, or is there any evidence that the antecedent for gas pressure is not a container? Something along those lines. Maybe it's worth changing it if we could find a good change for it now, as it freshens it up. You're still asking the same thing, but you're changing the way you're wording it, so it freshens up.
Any evidence? I got you, Brian. Any evidence gas doesn't fill space?
Oh, there's no evidence that gas will not fill an available volume.
Go ahead, whoever that was. Essential go.
When you ask for a demonstration, you're forcing them into something they can't provide. But when you ask for evidence, they just, like Dave McKeegan just crudely drew it, and people I've asked just describe it. So asking for a demonstration specifies it what you're after. They can't just go to drawings and what they think is happening.
No, we asked for evidence.
Yeah, but they can give you, and what Central Vote is saying is that they can give you an explanation, and in their head they've given you evidence.
Explanations aren't evidence.
They don't. Yeah, but it comes down to, it doesn't matter what something is or is not. It's about who you're dealing with. And who we're dealing with they're willing to give an explanation and say that they've answered the question, and then you're now denying what they've said, even though they have not produced anything to support the gas pressure can be attained without.
I get your point. Fair enough. Let's give you a juxtaposition with an example QE gives. Okay. So you're walking down to the street corner, and as you get to the street corner, you see a red sunset. Really pretty. Pink clouds, red sunset. Amazing. And as you're standing there looking at it, this rather smelly tramp comes up to you and goes, "You know what causes that?" And you go, "What?" And he looks at the sunset with you and goes, "You know what causes that?" And you go, "No, I don't know what causes that." Says, "All the pollution from those factories over there? That's what causes that." How do you know that, village idiot? Well, because you can see the chimneys and that, can't you? And you go, "All right." And that's the explanation to your satisfaction, is it, village idiot? "Yes, it is. I'd stake my life on it," says the village idiot. Okay. Well, that's good for you, village idiot. Thank you for letting me know what you believe. That's fascinating. Now, you've got two choices, Brian, based on what you've given me so far. You can stand there and challenge said village idiot on how stupid his ideas are. Or you can thank the village idiot for their time and move on with your day. Obviously, the choice is yours.
Not if you ask them to demonstrate it and not ask them about it.
Oh, well, I give evidence.
Can you demonstrate that?
That's the first thing I said to Sensual Goat. We asked for evidence. Evidence is proof. People sometimes confuse what the word evidence actually means. We're asking for proof that you can have gas pressure without a container. Well, to prove it would be to demonstrate it. Now, I appreciate the Sensual Goat's phrased it in that manner, because it solidifies the reason why there is no refinement required here. Contrary to your brushing up and freshening it up like it needs a bit of mouthwash. Au contraire, I feel not.
Well, I listened to a couple of ballers talking to Bev there this morning. It's just some hour-long show or after show or something that Bev published. I think it was a week or so ago. I haven't listened to Bev for a good while, so I just went looking for something to listen to, went to Bev's, and I found this. And these two guys, what they were saying is that, I mean, they could totally, show gas pressure without a container, and they were just talking a complete load of rubbish, right? And they could come over to Nathan's at any time and show gas pressure without a container, was what they were saying, right? Sorry about the background noise. But that doesn't mean anything. And they were saying, like, people don't know the difference between evidence and proof. So when you say the word evidence, to them, that doesn't have to mean proof. When you say the word proof, that doesn't have to mean evidence. And they can switch and chop and change between those two things at will in their own head and just lie or whatever. And when you say, is there any evidence of gas pressure without a container? They can then turn around and talk a lot of rubbish, give you some rubbish explanation, claim in their own head, either in their own head or just deceptively say that is evidence. Then they can claim you didn't accept what they put forward, even though they say they answered your question, and all their friends will agree with them that they answered your question, and that you're just hand waving.
I got your point. Okay.
I'm not finished. Hang on. It's not done yet, right? And no matter what happens, they will not be showing you a demonstration. Whereas you can skip all that and go straight to, can anyone demonstrate gas pressure without a container? Or something similar, where you're bringing the demonstration into it. And then they can't equivocate between what they want to call evidence. It doesn't matter if you know that evidence and proof are the same thing.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. What matters is who you're dealing with.
Let's follow that scenario. I changed the housekeeping question to any demonstration of gas pressure without a container. Okay. Now we're at the same scenario. We're at the village idiot street corner, and he happens to have a whiteboard and a pen. And he draws a circle, draws lots of dots around it, and goes, you see how there's all these dots hanging around this sphere? That's just like the sky. That's what the sky does. And it's proven by the fact that the gas isn't dispersing into the sky vacuum, like shown in my diagram here. There you go. That's my demonstration of how you can have gas pressure without a container, exactly as we do. Because the gas pressure is just not expanding into the vacuum, like shown in my demonstration here on this whiteboard. I've demonstrated it to you now, Brian. You're happy that I've changed the vernacular?
Yeah. No, even that is better, and I'll tell you why. Even though it's of no use, even that is better. Because someone who doesn't know much about the topic, when they start listening in, and somebody on the opposite side, you ask them, is there any evidence of gas pressure without a container? And they start waffling on and start bringing in gravity into it and whatever other absolute nonsense into it. The person who doesn't know any better they're going, I don't know what to do here. I don't know if this person is given any evidence, or is this real evidence? And they're after saying stuff I don't understand. Whereas when they turn up with this absolutely god-awful diagram or whiteboard and they draw onto it, when they do that, right, and they try and call that a demonstration, the person knows, well, that's not a demonstration. That's not a physical demonstration. I would even add it in the word physical. That's not a physical demonstration.
That's an illustration.
Now we're getting somewhere. Hold on, Neil. Sorry, I must interject. You say not a physical demonstration, like what? Physics?
Yeah, you haven't demonstrated it. You haven't actually demonstrated the thing because an illustration, as very correct, Neil, as Neil said, is not a demonstration. So a physical demonstration, is it possible, or is there any physical demonstration of gas pressure without a container? The average everyday person will go, this person can't demonstrate what they're claiming. They'll see it, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, it's nice that we're discussing it, but
they don't understand.
It's not a question of phraseology, which is what you're putting to me. Let's just dust up the housekeeping question by changing the phraseology. But the objection you've stacked up next to it isn't an objection to phraseology. It's an objection to standards. So when it comes, I tried to allude to this when I was like, so a physical demonstration, as in a demonstration within the realm of physics? Yeah, that would be cause and effect relationships based on naturally occurring phenomena. So then you're talking about a standard that you're willing to accept. Now, if you're in a legal setting, there is a legal standard for evidence. That's proof. So when you phrase the word evidence, when you phrase the word evidence into a sentence, as in, here is said cause and effect relationship as evidenced by, and then you, as you would put it, demonstrate said cause and effect relationship. That is your evidence for what you have postulated by whatever quod erat demonstratum. It is proven, you have demonstrated it. Yeah? But that's giving validity to a statement that could just be an assumption in a whiteboard form or a statement form. Now, if you don't recognise that, which is also your objection, that's not really my problem, because that is a standard-based evidence a standard-based problem for someone who I can't control in terms of the standards they set for evidence. You say, oh, well, that's good. Whiteboard with dots around it, people can recognise, this is where the problem occurs, that that's obviously not a demonstration in physics, or physical demonstration, as you put it. So that means that that's not a good enough explanation for most idiots. On the contrary, again, that's a perfectly good demonstration for most people, moving on with my day knowing that the sky is a vacuum. You see where I'm going? It's a standards problem, not a phraseology in terms of the housekeeping question problem. If you ask me, I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah. It is a standards issue. But the thing about it is that most of your everyday people, they live in the real world, right? And because they live in the real world, they know what a physical demonstration is and what it isn't. Because they're like, show it to me. You know, like someone says they can do something. Someone's going to say, the person at the bus stop is going to go, show it to me then. And the person goes to draw it out on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard. It's like, no, you said you could do this, right? Physical act or this thing, and now you're not demonstrating it. So you've lost credibility, right? The average baller, right, who is an anti-flat earther, will just accept any old nonsense because that's what they need to accept. But most people aren't that person. Most people want an actual show it to me physical demonstration because they're under the impression, just like refracted, let's just say, that the horizon is the leading edge of a globe. So they don't know that this stuff is not the case, that there is no proof for that. So they're just under the impression that there is a demonstration for this gas pressure without a container because they don't need, it's probably a question they never even thought about. They're just under the impression that, oh, well, all these scientists know this, so there's no problem. Whereas when you ask for a physical demonstration of that claim of gas pressure without a container, which is what they're claiming, right? You can show a physical demonstration of gas pressure with a container and requiring one.
Why?
But if the opposition can't show a physical demonstration of gas pressure without a container...
Why? That's not on me. That's not my burden, right? If you're going to flip this in some...
hold
on, I'm just going to respond. Hold on.
You're jumping on the wrong point. You don't
respond.
have to demonstrate.
Okay, I heard. Going to respond. If there's going to be any refinement or any onus on me whatsoever in this regard, gas pressure without a container regard, then all I'm going to do is flip this into spin for a flat plane. That is going to be my primary objective. If I say, right, what's going to be refined? How am I going to sharpen this blade? I'm going to sharpen this blade to say, number one, what am I trying to achieve in discussing this at all? Well, if it's already prone to being a heliocentric debunking, I already don't like it. Yeah? If I start assessing it, which I wasn't till you've decided that it needs refinement. Okay, well, what would I want to achieve out of it? Now that I've looked at it and it can be refined, I can show out any elevation that's describing gas pressure gradients, regardless of containment or not, will require a flat plane to describe them with respect to. Ergo, to describe anything that's got details about gas pressure at any altitude is going to be requiring a flat plane to do it. That's what I'd focus on if I was going to refine it. So, stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
No, that's not good. No, because at that point, for the average everyday person listening, it sounds like you're kind of after moving away from the point. They haven't been shown gas pressure without a container, and now you're talking about how it requires a flat plane for a gradient. It's like, where's this gas pressure without a container? You seem to have moved away from the very thing you look for.
I'm not looking for that. Like, you're confusing the issue. Like, I'm not looking for that.
Where's this demonstration?
I don't want one. I don't want one. I don't care. You're under the misapprehension that I care beyond my... If I remove all current Western world bias about what the sky is, now I know it isn't that, my only interest is, potentially, what could it be? So, showing that you can't have gas pressure without a container, which is an antecedent-consequent relationship defined by NASA themselves when it comes to pressure as the force exerted on the walls of a container. That goes without saying. I have no benefit in proving this. Now, the fact that my opponent has a positive claim that they cannot prove, I'm going to highlight the weakness in their argument, that isn't the tact I'm taking currently. So this is always going to put us at loggerheads if you're talking about refining, essentially, heliocentric debunking their positive claim that the sky is a vacuum to travel to little lights in the sky. I've got no horse in that race. Unless I'm proving a flat plane with it. I've already said that.
Yeah, but you do, because you've only asked the question only 10, 15 minutes ago, is there any evidence of gas pressure without a container? So you do have a horse in the race. All I'm saying is, I'm not asking you to demonstrate gas pressure with a container. I'm only saying that they're claiming that the gas pressure is possible to achieve without a container. You're asking them for a physical demonstration of this, right, as opposed to asking them for evidence, because they can convolute what they want to call evidence and mess you around and bring you around in a circle. Forget all that. Ask them for the physical demonstration. Is there any physical demonstration of gas pressure without a container? Then they can't, either for any new person watching, they don't come up with that evidence. The person goes, these people are a load of rubbish. They can't come up with the average everyday person straight away goes, they can't come up with that demonstration. The everyday person wants a demonstration. They want to see it happening. No, they want to hear words. They don't want to hear magic.
Okay.
They want to see it happen.
Okay. Well, they've got that. That's what they spend the most money on. When we first got here, what was the response to that? If you put it to them, space is fake. No example, no appeal to natural law, just space is fake. What would they show you to prove that there is a space that the astronauts are in? What would they do?
Well, they show you a NASA photograph.
Okay. That's all I need. I'm leading you. So, and if they're on debate, when flat Earth debate is developed, we haven't yet got to gas pressure without a container question, but we would allude to the same argument. What would the debate opponent do in this server or this setting?
Well, they're trying to show you pictures of NASA space.
No, I was going to say they point to the sky.
Yeah, I know that, but that's not a demonstration.
According to them, it is. You want to see gas pressure without a container? Just look up. How many times have you heard that in the early days of the discussion? Plenty.
I heard it all. I still hear it, but that's not the point. The point is it's not a demonstration.
It is to them. That's your... Notice how we've gone full circle. Excuse me. Excuse me. Eloquently brought you full circle. Your argument started with the fact that they wouldn't recognise that. I.e., no, for your average Joe, that's a satisfactory demonstration. Back to standards then, isn't it? In other words, why are we troubling ourselves with something that we can't control? I can't control the Globehead viewers' standards. I can't do that. I can allude to it with a discussion like we're having now, which is why this is fantastic, by the way, Brian. I know I'm cutting in the points I see as relevant, which is probably annoying you. I can detect it already. Nevertheless, if there's going to be a refinement, it's going to prove a flat plane. That'll be my opener if this is going to have any change. And in respect to how well it's refined towards evidence versus demonstration, they can't demonstrate their positive claim. Now, this housekeeping is a relic of the fact that this is a debate show. There are two sides. The majority of the Western world, if I'm going to infer the idea that 99% of people believe they're on a sphere, then that has got to be there in the forefront of the conversation in terms of the opening gambit for the majority of the viewers, because that's who they're going to be. If this show was suddenly to exponentially grow, you'd need all those points addressing in the concise format that they are still addressed. So I'm not of the opinion we need to ditch housekeeping, even on the front foot saying Earth is measured flat, and every housekeeping question could be altered to incorporate that. But I don't necessarily want to, unless someone convinces me to. And I'm just putting that argument to you based on the fact that the standards of the person that will accept village idiots dots around a ball and pointing at the sky as a demonstration, because they will, and you know it.
Well, I can only go by the people that let's say the everyday people I grew up with. If you say something is real, or you say you can do something, or you make a claim, the everyday person I grew up with, working class person, right? They want to see it. I can't speak for middle class people or people above them financially. I can speak for the working class, the blue collar people. And that's what most of the world is made up of, blue collar people. Show me it. And pointing to the sky, I can only speak from my own experience, pointing to the sky would have been laughed out of it. That doesn't, you know what I mean? You show it. You have to show it. Demonstrate it. Show it. That's what people want to see. They want to see it. Show it. If it's possible up there, it doesn't matter. Like the everyday person goes, well, surely you can demonstrate it then, just on a smaller scale. You know what I mean? Show it. And people can't, and they can't. That's why I'm saying, at least, see, what I'm saying is remove evidence and add in physical demonstration in the question is because then you're getting away from any convolution they want to make between evidence and proof and any nonsense. You're going straight to the demonstration. So it's just that little step closer to their destruction. I'm not saying they're going to be able to do anything with it, but I'm just saying it for the average everyday person, that I'm only going off my own experience. Show it to me then. If you say you can jump that wall, show it to me.
But don't we show it to them when we do the bromine, that video with the bromine?
But we don't have to show. We're not making a claim. This is the thing. It's not up for us to show. It's for them to show, Neil. So show it to me. Neil, with the lads you grew up with, the people you grew up with, right, in New York, if someone says they can do something or someone says something is real, everyone goes, really? Show it. Don't they? What would you get away with?
you gotta perform that which you say you can do.
Yeah, or prove that what you say is true. Right? If you say you can do something physically, you've got to do it. Or prove that the claim you make is true. You can't just make a claim. So the everyday people in the world want you to show it, demonstrate it. Because you know what I mean? The blue collar world is, using the American term of blue collar, the blue collar world is a world of reality, stark reality. Show it or fail. It's one or the other. You know what I mean? There's no grey area there. It's black or it's white. You either show it or you can't. Simple as. And that is what most of the world are made up of. People who want just show it then. I live in the real world, show it to me. You know what I mean? That's my attitude.
World. So most of the world is flat earthers.
Come again one more time?
Yeah, they're very easily switched.
I didn't catch that. Say that again, John.
So most of the world will be flat earthers then, by that logic.
But talk me through that. I didn't make that as the logic. You'll have to talk me through that, John.
Most people, if you make a claim, want you to demonstrate it. Therefore, most people will be flat earthers then.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I was almost going to make a similar point, which was to say, well, off the back of what you said, John, everyone is a flat earther, they just don't appreciate it. But if their standards were higher, they would. But that is essentially what you're saying, but you're using that as though Brian put that into the logical form, although I don't think he did. Did he? Am I missing something?
No, he didn't.
But the thing about it is that who are the most swayed? Who do they have to sway the most? The uneducated, the everyday blue-collar person who works in a construction, in a factory, in a shop. They're the people they must sway. They must get them, because they're the majority. We're talking about heads of population. Those people, like me, are part of the majority. The everyday people are the majority. Right? The middle class aren't the majority, and the upper class are not the majority. It's the middle, it's the working class, the blue collar. That's who they need to sway. And those are the people, funnily enough, ironically, those are the people that expect you to produce and show. So they're the people they've had to allude to that they have evidence of things that they don't have evidence for. But they're uneducated, the blue collar people, so they don't know that the people who are claiming to have evidence for stuff don't have evidence at all, because they're using the word evidence and proof, just like they use the word science, flippantly. But the word demonstration can't be flippant. Physical demonstration, those two words put together, you can't be flippant about that when it comes to everyday blue collar people. You must show it.
But that's evidence by a higher standard. That's scientific evidence then.
Well, it's just a demonstration. Demonstration doesn't have to be scientific. It's just a demonstration. You have to just demonstrate it. Prove it.
To offer
in the physical 3D world.
When you're talking about cause and effect relationships, which gas pressure and containment absolutely is, easily scientifically validatable, then I'm going to expect that to be the standard if someone describes a cause and effect. I'm going to go, okay, you've just put the standards, especially when you're now, angling for physicality to be put into the definition of the demonstration, fine, but that immediately puts it into a bracket of scientific evidence, as far as I'm concerned. And when you say evidence, I'm not then inferring that they must provide scientific evidence. It's just a standard that is saying, I want proof. Now, if they, in their positive claim, make an assertion that can be slotted into the scientific method, I'll demand that that's what they do when they go to prove their claim. But that's me with my standards. And I feel that your objection isn't based on me and my standards, or us and our standards. Yours are as high as mine. Your objection is based on the great unwashed. And I don't know, even with endless years to research what was truly the case, given the conversation we had in the pre-show about statistical analysis, right? we're working on inference. I even had to pepper my 99% of people think they're on a ball by what we are led to believe. Most of us think 99% of people think they're on a ball in the Western world, but that's pure inference. So to start working off the back of any of this, no, we'd have to do statistical analysis first to see where the people really are at and who is of real influence. Is it really the blue collars that need convincing if they've been told from birth that it's a ball and trained to just accept what they've been trained to regurgitate in high school, regardless of what it is, and they already know it's a ball, and it gets reinforced on the TV all the time? I don't think they are consequential in the slightest as you're lending credence to it. But if I'm only putting the opposition to that, not because I actually believe it, by the way, Brian, but just to say, if there was a statistical analysis done on the significance of their opinion in this regard, then it might be worth some effort. I know we're only talking about changing one word in a housekeeping question, but these things are critical, Brian. We have to discuss them at length.
Yeah, I agree. 99% of the world think that 99% of the world believe it's a globe, right? Now, we have to, and this is not conjecture, the world is told that flat earthers, and has been told by media, mainstream media, and the television and that flat earthers, for most of the part, are crazy or idiots, right? Stupid or crazy or liars, one or the other, right? But the thing about it is this: someone doesn't have to become a flat earther. They just have to be able to see that someone can't demonstrate their claim, and it can't be demonstrated even outside of them. So you know the way you're talking about that. You know the way I heard you talk about how you looked at the silence after you ask a housekeeping question, and there's just a silence. So let's just say the question, we just used the question you asked earlier: is there any evidence of gas pressure without a container? And we all just, like, instead of answering it, we just go silent. Well, that would be better if you change it to, can anyone produce a physical demonstration of gas pressure without a container? And then a silence. Then the silence is better, because it's not really, it's not a question of yes or no, and just leave it at that. I'll yes, no with explanation. It's a question of yes, here is the demonstration, or no, I can't produce it. So saying yes or no is like, yes means you have to produce it, no means you can't, if you understand what I mean. So that little silence, that little silence would fit right there, right after that. Up to you. It's your show. I go along with whatever you want. As you know, I don't like the whole measured flat thing, but I go along with it because it's your show. Well, so whatever you want to go along with.
No. I mean, it's a new enough subject where you already know my opinion on this. I already know your objection, and the circumstances, pedantic though they may be, that your objection does have 100% credence. It's valid, isn't it? Let's just get that out of the way first, right? State your position as concisely as you can why it is incorrect to state that you can acquire geometric measurements from a description and how wrong that is when I say Earth is measured flat. Just explain contextually why that fits into a circumstance that is unequivocally wrong. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, it's only one instance where that's wrong, where we can't use that term flat, and that is with surveying, which is measurement of the land. If you're talking about aerospace, or you're talking about celestial navigation, then you're making a two-dimensional horizontal measurement, right? That's what you're doing with both those disciplines. Then you can describe that measurement, because when we're talking about flat is a descriptor, right? The word flat is a description. So you can then describe that measurement as flat, but you can't do that if you're talking about surveying, which is the third way we measure the world, because you're dealing with elevations. So to describe it as they measured the mountain flat, or they measured these three mountains, flat doesn't, they have a horizontal baseline, but they didn't measure something that you could describe as flat. So only in that instance can it be picked upon. And it can be picked upon in that instance. But in celestial navigation, if it comes to celestial navigation or aerospace, then technically, yes, you can say that you've measured the Earth flat, simply because the measurement is two-dimensional. It's a two-dimensional horizontal measurement, and that can be described as flat, because flat is a synonym of horizontal, or horizontal is a synonym of flat, blah, blah, blah. Although one is an orientation and the other is a description.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my
Is
issue with it.
a mountain
Go ahead.
is a mountain the Earth?
It's
Is
part
a
of the Earth.
mountain? No,
It's
no.
not, but that's
Is
not the
a
point I'm
mountain?
making. No, it's not.
Hold on. Both of you stop.
a-
Stop. Both of you. Right. John, then Brian. Go ahead, John.
A mountain is not the Earth. If you equivocate a mountain with the Earth and say it's not flat, you should be just smacked. Obviously, just smacked.
Okay, yeah. But the point is that people will and do equivocate and will look for, will jump on things. They will do that. And the point I'm making is when it comes to surveying, if you're measuring elevations, then you can't, elevations, even though it's in respect to a horizontal baseline, you can't describe your measurements over the course of that day or week as flat. You can say it's in reference to something that can be described as flat, but the measurements themselves weren't flat because they were slope measurements of slope and distance. The distance can be described as horizontal, distance between the elevations can be described as, that part can be described as a flat measurement because it's horizontal, but in general you can't do that with surveying. You can with celestial navigation and aerospace.
So if we're measuring sea level from a vertical datum, how are we going to measure sea level as what?
And your question's valid. It's just the very principle of surveying. This is where, if you like, Bev's got a point. Your whole principle is to show how much deviation from flat there is. Now, that's you measuring how not flat it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Not at sea level. No, sea level, you have different heights of how flat it is to get mean sea level, which will be your source data for describing a point on a vertical datum to give you a height from and call it altitude.
Yeah.
So, but first you have to measure sea level as flat.
Yeah, I get that.
Get that source.
I get that, but the thing that's being acquired in terms of its actual what you're measuring is going. The purpose of doing this is going to be to say how high that mountain is, how deep that valley is, isn't it? That's so when you infer that that's what you're measuring the deviation from flat, and you've got to establish that first. Therefore, you're saying, well, flat's got to be involved, and I completely agree. But when you actually say, well, I'm measuring it flat. So what, the top of the mountain? Because that's what that particular process is going to be doing. Now, you can say you're going to need Earth to be flat in order to fulfill any of these processes. But that isn't conducive with me saying Earth is measured flat when in the most pedantic possible way, it's measuring how much you deviate from the flat reference. That's not measuring it.
Yeah, but
when
that's
you look
not
at a mountain.
the Earth.
Go on.
Right. The mountain is not the Earth. Right.
But that's what they're measuring.
Exactly.
But that is what they're measuring. If you're going to say what are you measuring? Well, you're measuring how high or low the mountain or valley is with respect to a flat surface of reference. In this case, you're using sea level, fine, or a datum. Whatever you're using to reference a plane, you're going to have to reference the plane to have a deviation from how high or low it is, and you're going to have to know that in the first instance. In other words, Earth will require its nature to be flat to do this, and that is absolutely correct. But what they're actually measuring is the deviation with regard to how flat it is already established to be, as opposed to measuring it flat. So I can't get around this. I've had this debate 17, 18 times thus far. But you carry on, John.
The it part, when you say it, are you talking about the mountain or the Earth?
If you're a surveyor, yes,
when you say
mountain, because that's what they're going to say. Well, what are we surveying here? Are we surveying the Earth for its flatness and measuring the Earth for its flatness, or are we surveying the mountain and how not flat it is with respect to the flatness that's already established and must be indicative of this process? So it's still a flat Earth proof, but it makes my toes curl just saying this, because Brian's right. It's pedantic and irritating, but in that one circumstance, they're not actually measuring to measure Earth, are they? Whereas when you measure Earth to establish Earth as flat because you're going to damn well need it to be to get an angle from it, you are measuring Earth flat. You're either establishing a parallel with a flat Earth, or you're establishing using the Earth and correcting to the flat Earth to have that angle. There's no way around it for anybody. That's measuring Earth flat. And no one's going to ever critique me on that.
Right. Right. And then when a surveyor is measuring sea level, what are they measuring? Are they measuring 1 degree, or are they measuring as 0? Flat.
Are you talking about mean sea level?
They're not establishing
sea level.
What measurement are they doing to get to 0? I'm not proficient enough in surveying to know what gets measured to get to 0, if you're going to say that that's your reference point to then start surveying out from. What's the measurement that's being done there? Because that could be a measurement of the Earth flat or a flat Earth measurement. Well, I just don't know what it is.
What they do is the mean sea level, they don't measure that, right? Because that's been something that's an average over 19-year period. It's an average over 19-year period that happened years ago, right? A long time ago, right? This is not something new. What they do is they set benchmarks. So when you're surveying in a place, you go to the local benchmark and you know that that benchmark is this height above mean sea level. Then you know that you can use that benchmark to survey on from that. You know the exact elevation of that particular place. And your elevations then will be in relation to that place, and then obviously in relation to mean sea level, because that place has been shown to be this elevation and measured to be this elevation above mean sea level. So that's what they use what they call benchmarks. So They're throwing them all over the country. Every country has it.
Yes, that is true. But to establish your source point that you're going to apply in all these vertical datums, there was a 19-year measurements, 19 years of measurements done, and the average taken from those.
Yes.
And what you said. And all of those measurements were of 0.
Yes.
In that instance, what they were actually measuring, a flat plane.
Yeah, yes,
and then
yes. I
those
completely agree.
points
Hold
on
on,
that
let me just agree with you
datum-
first. Let me just agree. Yeah, absolutely correct. Okay, so at that point, yes, measuring Earth flat. Okay, but when you're a surveyor, that's already been established for you. In other words, the Earth being flat is a prerequisite for surveying, as opposed to a measurement that they perform there and then. Would you agree?
Yes.
Well, it depends on what they're measuring.
Well, I agree, but in
If they're measuring,
in this instance, you're measuring for sea level in your example, rather than just pointing your theodolite at a mountain or whatever you're going to do. You've got your lantern out, you're doing a bit of surveying. You're not doing that process that you've got to have done to have the prerequisite, but that is the flat Earth measurement in this instance, which a surveyor per se isn't necessarily doing. There might be, but probably not. Would you agree?
right, you're trying to establish a level flat plane first when you build. That's what a surveyor will do. They will measure an area and try to flatten it so that you can build on it. Does everyone recognize that?
Isn't that taking something that's inherently unlevel and creating level in the position that you're at, right? You're creating level, as opposed to measuring level.
Yes.
You're creating
yes,
a
but you're
parallel
doing it from measure.
Oh, hold on, Brian. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. Right. And once you get it to 0, right, because that's what your end goal will be, you're measuring level. A level, not mean sea level, not sea level in that particular, but you are getting to 0, and 0 is a level flat plane that you have just measured. Is it not?
I don't know. I need this telling me. I need this explained. I need this 9 more times before it fully cements itself as understood. I'll be honest.
I don't think it's a good point, John, because you're only making a parallel with what is already established as being horizontal. You're making a parallel horizontal with that established
That's
horizontal.
irrelevant.
But that's not
Is it a flat plane?
But you're moving away
Is it orientation?
How long is it going
Is
to be?
its
How big is this flat
orientation
plane going to
flat?
be? How big is it going to
Let's
be?
just answer him. Yes, the orientation is flat, John.
Yes, the orientation is horizontal, not flat, horizontal.
And
Horizontal.
so flat and horizontal are not?
Let's not get into that. The synonyms.
That's not orientation.
Yes. You're establishing horizontal. Let's just move past that. Let's not be too pedantic. Bloody hellfire. Okay, yeah, you're establishing horizontal, but as opposed to measuring Earth flat is where we're at.
Yeah, you just measured
Yeah,
the
but
Earth
Brian,
as a horizontal flat plane that you just created to build upon. That's what you did.
Yeah, you
How are we denying?
You created it. That's what I said initially. You're creating it. As opposed to measure.
And Brian said flat and horizontal are the same before.
They are, but what I'm saying is, when in celestial navigation, you're acquiring something from the plane of the Earth, if you're looking at the horizon, yeah, and you're correcting to the ground to make it flat so you can have that angle. Now, when I say you're measuring Earth flat with that, it's pretty concise, it's pretty understandable by most people. When you say, I am going to create a level plane, and this is how I'm going to do it, what's the bit that's measuring Earth that does that, John?
Well, you would take a theodolite and create an eye level, right? And then use rise over run to take down any undulation in the surface till it's flat.
Okay.
That's what you do.
So, yeah, but in rise over run, that takes a principle of a flat Earth that's already established to apply to what you're doing there and then proactively. Ergo, you're not measuring Earth flat, it's a prerequisite, as I said earlier.
Right.
Let me just clear up.
When you get
hold on, Brian.
But hold on.
Go ahead, John.
How do you know it's flat? Right? You have to take a measurement of it as flat to know it's flat. In the end,
do you measure?
When you're done, you take a measurement and you know it's flat because you measured it that way.
Okay, I'm going to need to look into this more because it still isn't cementing in my mind. I'm sure you're correct.
To me, what John is saying
do you know who I'd like?
Anyway.
Do you know who I'd really like to be here now? Rakia. He does this on the daily, doesn't he?
Yeah, but the thing about that is this, right? I can build a house, a 2-story house that has 3 bedrooms in it. That means it won't be that big of a house. And I'll establish a level to build that upon, right? I can do that. So I've established horizontal to do that with, right? Over a small area. Yeah, I can just measure a very small portion of the Earth. I've just made sure that very small portion of the Earth is horizontal. So I can claim that very small portion of the Earth can be described as flat, and I'm going to build upon it. I can do the same with a factory, which is a lot bigger, or a building, a big building, like a public building, whatever, right? An airport, really big, right? But they're only sectional. When you're talking about surveying, you're talking about changes in elevation from mean sea level. Based all reference to mean sea level. Mean sea level is already established. So you're working off of an already established horizontal plane. That's what you're working off of. But you're not measuring that horizontal plane. You're only measuring portions that will be parallel to it. And there'll be other things you're measuring which won't have anything to do with it because they'll be either vertical or slopes between the vertical and the horizontal. You know what I mean? You'll take a theodolite and your measuring rod, and you'll go out and you'll go through a series of rise over run to determine elevations.
So, what you just said.
Do you know why I'm jumping on this? Just 1 second. Do you know why I'm jumping on this and why it's important? It's because there's people out there, right? I won't say who they are, whatever's going on.
No, go on. Say who they are.
People out there.
No, go on.
No, I'm not going. It doesn't matter.
Go on.
It doesn't matter who they are.
Go on.
It doesn't matter. It's who they can influence. And they will jump all over this and character assassinate you personally, Nathan. And if they character assassinate you personally, they character assassinate the show and everyone connected to it. And that's what they can do. And they can do it, and they can be convincing enough to give people the impression that when you say it's measured flat, they don't have to add in all the caveats about celestial navigation or aerospace, and else. They can use that statement to character assassinate you. Now, they might seem like, they're no big deal. Now they're no big deal. But in 3 years' time, they might be a big deal. That's my point. Why open yourself up to ridicule? Go on, John.
Right. Like Bev just copyright stroke. You know, he did a copyright strike takedown on someone where Bev walked up to a surveyor and that surveyor pointed out it's just flat because he was looking for a flat spot to build upon. Neil knows this because Neil, we all work with level, flat. Now, if you're talking about a localized portion of flat or the entire Earth as flat, still flat.
I copyright struck him because he stole my content.
Not because it's embarrassing when you're claiming not flat.
No, the video's there. It's still up on my channel. He just copied it.
Oh, what?
And put it up on his channel. That's why I copyright struck him.
I offered to pay you the 12 cents that you would have lost. Remember?
What, for the content theft?
Yeah. I offered to pay you the 12 cents.
You offered to pay for the content theft?
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
I asked if you'd gone to the police about theft as well, because you kept calling it theft.
It got took down.
So did you go to the police about this, quote, theft?
No, I just told
So why not?
YouTube.
So why not? You've been stolen from. Why aren't you going to the police? I don't understand. This is theft according to you. He's stolen from
Nathan,
you.
on
So
YouTube,
it's a crime.
yeah, it was originally uploaded.
I'm being
It's
rumpus.
my
What's going
content
on? It's
YouTube.
almost like immediately when I put an objection, the same objection I put to you, I think it was 25 times in the chat. You didn't seem to want to respond to it then either. According to you, there's a crime being committed. I'm asking if you've been to the police. You haven't. Shut up and sit down about it, Dumbo. If you haven't been to the police, who gives a crap? Your bleatings have now been overcome. Rumpusing my objection to your putting your purse in the middle of the room and crying about how hard done by you are because you've lost 12 cents on a video and put, what, another YouTuber's career on the line because you've copyright striked him for, what, the principle of theft? If it's that big a deal, you'd have gone to the police. You haven't. It's not. It's just embarrassing because you're going around saying Earth's not flat. And in that demonstration of a discussion with a surveyor, his response to you when asked was, no, it's just flat, end quote. But apparently it's all about the theft. No, you drama queen, it's not. It's about how bloody embarrassing it is for someone who's saying it's not flat when we're pointing it out. He's saying, look, here's the surveyor telling him it's not going to be rumpused. Yeah?
Well,
sit down.
Let your audience know.
Sit down or go to the police if it's that big a deal, if you feel like you've been stolen from, if it's theft, if it's a crime. Why are you bleating ear about it? Go to the police or sit down and shut up, stop moaning, and we'll highlight the embarrassing factor in the debate. If it's not a crime, then there's no concern, is there? If there is, you better get down to the police station. If there's not, we'll talk about how embarrassing it is for you. Now we've dealt with that stupid issue of the 12 cents you've lost, and the principles, and the theft. No, Bev. The surveyor said it's just the surveyor. The surveyor, let's get back to the debate, Bev. Not your hard done by nature in loss of theft. We're now back to him rumpusing me because we're bringing it back on track after his little handbag in the ring didn't work. So no. The surveyor said it's just flat, didn't he?
In reply to me asking him about
the yes or no question. Yes or no,
Nathan.
Yes or no question. It's closed.
You can watch the video, Nathan.
I did. Quote. No, it's just flat. End quote to you.
Yeah. So there's no.
Is that yeah? That sounded like an acknowledgement that the surveyor says it's just flat.
No
correct?
Curve to net level, right?
That's
Nathan?
not what he said.
That's what I said to him.
No, we're talking about the surveyor.
So there's no curve to level, right, Nathan?
Does take a vote in the chat. Vote 1 if you give two shiny shites what Bev had to say on the matter. Vote 1. If you'd rather have Bev quote verbatim what the surveyor said, type 2. Number 1 if you give a shiny crap what Bev had to say. Number 2 if you'd rather hear Bev quote verbatim and I'll quote him, quote, surveyor, no, it's just flat, end quote. If you'd rather just hear Bev, rather than a half-hearted, yeah, moving on quickly, you'd rather him verbatim parrot back what the surveyor damn well told him about what was being measured. So let's hear it from the chat, Bev. We'll see if anybody gives a crap what you were saying when I asked you to acknowledge what you were told by the surveyor.
Are you going to play it? Do you want to play it?
I'm asking you to repeat it verbatim.
I'll post it in the Discord for you.
No, I'm asking the chat if they want to hear you say it verbatim. I'm asking the audience what they want. I didn't give them the option of play a video. I asked, do they want to hear you say what you were told by the surveyor? It's a unanimous, everybody wants to hear you say it verbatim, without exception. Everybody wants you to say it back, Bev.
Right, give me a second.
Why? Can you not remember what he said to you?
Yeah, I remember the whole thing. I got it recorded.
Everybody in the chat just wants to hear you say it.
Remember, Nathan?
Would you want to say it?
My content. Of course I've got it.
Oh, sorry, back to handbag in the ring about whose content is, rather than fulfilling the chat's desire to hear you actually say what he told you. Just tell us what he told you. Bev, just tell us what he told you.
Doing a bit of a project about level with the lad, right? It's horizontal, right? Yeah. It's nothing else.
See, I call it vertical because it's up and down.
Well, it's perpendicular, isn't it?
Yeah.
Horizontal and vertical. Level it's not curved at all, is it?
No, it's flat.
Can't have a curve in it.
Can't be curved, no, it's flat.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate.
How's that?
It's just flat then.
No, level.
No, that's not what he said.
Doing a project.
Sorry, Bev, he said flat. Twice.
Yeah, when I asked.
Sorry, yeah. So, Bev, when you go around telling us it's not flat, the surveyor said it's flat, didn't he?
Level.
No, he didn't say level. He said flat twice. It seems like Bev wants to deny what actually was said to him. He didn't want to parrot it back verbatim.
Flat.
Seems like you're a bit of a weasel, Bev.
Hang on. Look, can I add something here? First of all, I don't think it was right, Bev, for you to strike Michael over that video.
Who
He
cares?
stole that content.
Stole my content. Call the police.
Hang on.
Don't think it's right for people. It's all right for people to just steal other people's content.
Sorry, and did you go to the police about it? You've gone to the police and reported the theft to the police because it's theft, right? A crime has been committed and you have reported that to the police. Haven't you, Bev? Oh, we've already covered this. No, Bev's being a big girl about losing 12 cents and would rather copyright strike somebody. Now, Bev isn't going to go to court over this. He's not going to go to the police over this. He's not going to do any of those things over this. He just wants to mask the embarrassing fact that the guy said it was flat, which is what he said twice.
The guy, no, not at all.
Let me add something to that.
The copyright strike was because he stole my content and uploaded it on his own channel as his own content.
Hang on, Bev.
Help his dumbass out.
Hang on.
No
Neil,
credit.
Neil,
no
you're
nothing.
with me. 1 second. Bev asked him, right, about level specifically. And the guy said flat. And he asked him again. He said, yeah, it's flat. Twice. The guy did say it's flat. So he said level.
He said it's vertical.
Flat.
He said, I call it vertical because it's up and down.
You asked him, but you asked him about perpendicular. You asked him about level.
Yes,
Level
so I led that conversation.
Level is not vertical,
yes.
Right? And he said flat.
He says he calls it vertical.
He said it's flat. You asked him about level.
No
you just said a minute ago, you asked him about level, and you asked him twice, and he said, yeah, it's flat.
Yes, when I asked him to confirm that there was no curvature to it. Right, that's the words he chose to use to tell me that there was no curvature to level.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. The point I'm trying to make is that you didn't like the fact that that the surveyor was saying it's flat, and people are saying, see, the surveyor says the earth is flat. Whereas the surveyor didn't say the earth was flat.
No, he didn't say the earth is flat, though, did he?
He said, when you asked about level, he said it was flat. That's what he said, yes? Right.
Yes,
so
when I asked him to confirm that there was no curvature to level.
As a description.
He said,
Yeah.
yes, it's flat.
Yes, he described it as flat.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I agree.
That's not the Earth, is it?
Sorry, sorry, it's not the Earth. What was he describing exactly?
It's not the Earth.
Sorry,
no.
what's he surveying?
He said he calls it vertical.
My question,
because
I'll
he
repeat.
measures it up
My
and down.
question, what is he surveying?
Is the land.
Oh, so not the Earth. I'm a bit confused. He's surveying the Earth, but it's not the Earth. Because the Earth is the land, right? That's the Earth, Bev.
The level gets established.
Sorry, my bad. Completely ignore my response. I ask, why would you say he's not measuring Earth? What's he measuring? He's measuring the land. Flat. Isn't
he didn't say that the land was flat.
Sorry, what's he measuring again?
He wasn't measuring.
What's he measuring again? What is he, as a surveyor, going to be or paid to be measuring?
No.
I mean, no.
He was just a surveyor at the side of the road that I said I was doing a project about level with my son, which I was.
That's fascinating. I don't give a crap what you were doing. I'm asking what the surveyor would be paid to do. Measure the land, right? Silence. Measure the land, right? Silence. Measure the land.
He said land.
Measure the land, right? Not Earth.
Yes,
the land,
Nathan.
right?
Nathan, I have a land surveying certificate.
Nobody gives a crap what you've got. The guy who said it's flat, what's it? And I'm saying, what's he measuring? Because that's going to be what it is when he says it is flat. What's he measuring? You're saying not Earth. And then rumpusing the crap out of me, which is very amusing, how triggered you are. You okay there, Bev? Do you need a bit of a chill pill? Do you need to maybe go and see a counsellor about your problems you've got there with socialisation? Do you need to see a counsellor? Do you need some help? I'm asking a question, Bev. Do you need help? You seem to be disturbed.
Don't need any help at all,
Why do you keep
Nathan?
talking through the middle of me then? Are you disturbed by what I'm saying?
because
Is
you
it just
seem
what I'm
to
saying
think
that
that
disturbs you
level-
like now? Are you disturbed? Need
Seem to
counselling?
think that level is the thing that he's measuring.
And what is he measuring as a surveyor of the land? It's not the land, right? Not the Earth. Not the land,
I wasn't
not the Earth.
talking to him about the land, was I, Nathan?
What were you talking about
I was
with the
talking
surveyor?
to him about
okay,
level.
specifically, what were you asking him about measurements of as a surveyor? What did you specify?
No, I didn't. Wasn't talking about measurements, was I, Nathan?
When you were asking a surveyor, someone who does measurements, about how we establish stuff, and he describes what it is as flat, you weren't asking him about measurements.
I was showing my son, because we were doing a project about level, that there's no curvature to level.
That's great.
Right?
How's
Now,
that
my
you-
son
and-
knows how to
okay,
set these tools
okay,
up.
okay.
He knows how
No
to measure
curvature
these
to the
things.
land, Bev. No curvature to the land, Bev. To the land. Stop it now.
There is curvature to the land, though. There is curvature to the land, though, Neil.
Really, if there was curvature to the land as an overall, like, way of being, like, to the overall land, then how can people possibly navigate it flat without any elevation? My bad.
Brian
Counselling
told you
needed.
just
Counselling
earlier.
needed. Need you go and get help for your problem you've got there, Bev.
Do you, if you need help,
Yeah,
then
I haven't finished,
Nathan,
Bev.
yes, do whatever
It seems
you
like
want.
you need maybe
Brian
to have
just
some
told you
counselling.
earlier.
Maybe some counselling
surveying
needed.
is the
I'm still in the middle of the
one
same
place where
sentence,
this
Bev.
flat
It seems
shit-
like you're just going to have that irritating mental disorder be projected straight through the middle of my sentence there, aren't
All
you, Bev?
right.
Go and get some help. You know, what you need is help socialising. Like now, when people talk, you need help, Bev. You don't know how to converse with people.
No,
you feel
you
that
don't-
you need to make
you
your
don't
point
know
made through
people.
the top of someone else like you're doing now. You have mental problems. You don't know how to have a conversation. It seems like you're socially maladjusted. I'll make my attempt again for a second time. You're asking a surveyor about what he does with respect to the land. And your argument is that
No.
it's not measurements. And I'm saying, okay, if you're not asking him about the land, it's just not about measurements, it's just about a general principle, and he happens to be a guy on the street you asked, fine. But the land could be curved. How can that be so, given that we navigate it flat and there are no up or down changes whatsoever? If the ground, the land, the earth was curving, as you seem to be implying in that regard, because that's what we're talking about, measuring the land and that, the earth. How can it be curved when we sail on it flat?
He was talking about the horizontal.
Who was asking
level.
you? Who was asking you? Shit for brains. Let's just shut this dickhead up because he seems to think his name's Bev. So, Bev, given that you've said that it could be curved when we're talking about the land, and you weren't talking about the land with a land surveyor who surveys the land and measures the land, and that's his job to measure the land, and he's talking about it being flat, it's not the land. It could be curved. That's your position thus far. How can that be so, given that we sail around it, White Knight now on mute, flat? How could it be curved? Explain.
Did you hear what I said? I said I'm doing a project with my lad. So I think this should be a benefit to that project. It takes quite a while for me to do this. Finish it completely.
Can I just take what Bev said and put it into a positive statement and see if Bev agrees with it? Because he said level is flat. Level is flat, so mean sea level is flat. And mean sea level applies to the entire Earth.
Do you agree with that statement, Bev? Would you want it repeated?
No, absolutely not. A mean's just an average. And it applies to the only points that apply to that particular mean.
Okay,
like the mean for the UK is not the same as the mean for America and Canada and parts of Mexico, right?
Quick question. Can any of them ever be...
So that's not the entire world.
Okay, I heard. I heard. Can any of them be curved?
The points... They're just reference points, Nathan.
And can they be curved?
It's just a reference
as a whole, as we're talking about.
Points can't be
just
curved.
like obfuscation. He makes a response, leaves a pause, and when there's a response, he's got that problem where he doesn't know how to socialise, like social problems, counselling needed, right, Bev? Yeah, it's a back and forth. It's not you talk, we listen, then when we respond, you continue talking. That's not how it works, Bev. Yeah? Maladjusted socially. Should we try and have a normal conversation where you don't just talk straight through a response you get that you don't like? Should we try? Last time you needed your White Knight and there was prolonged silence and then you telling us about what you were trying to achieve with your son. When my question was very specifically, how can it be in any way curved when we go and sail out on the seas flat? And you told me about how much time you were spending with your son in response to that question. So I'll repeat my question. Given that you're suggesting that it's a principle, not measurement, that you're discussing with a man on the street, irrelevant of the fact that his job is to measure the land, because that's not relevant to your point, which is it's about a single point. Okay. Given that it could be curved, according to your inference, we're going to go out and sail. And it isn't curved, it's 100% flat, no deviation in elevation whatsoever. Now I'm asking you, how can it be curved, given that we go and sail out it flat? That's nothing to do with your son. Are you mentally retarded when you responded with the something about your son nonsense that in no way addresses that question? Just answer that question about sailing on it flat.
I am not mentally retarded.
That's not an answer to whether or not we can define it as curved when we sail on it flat.
I know, Nathan, through my studies, that level is indeed horizontal. I can prove that.
So sea level,
and there's no
so sea level when we go and sail on it is flat then, based on what you have just stated. Level is flat. What? We sail on Earth flat then, correct?
I don't know what you do. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying that based on the principle you've just said, we would sail on sea level, and sea level would be flat.
Well, no, because
no. So level isn't flat. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, level is flat. You seem to be a bit confused. Is it yes, level isn't flat, or no, level is flat, Bev? Which one? You seem confused. It seems like you need a bit of help, like you've got mental problems. When I ask you, is level flat, because you seem to say no afterwards, I ask you if level is flat, and then you say yes. Which is it?
Stuttering.
We sail on the sea level, that would be flat then, by your logic, correct?
No, Nathan.
So level isn't flat, Bev.
Level is horizontal, Nathan. I've proved it.
Okay, and what's the surveyor got to say about that horizontal? That's flat, right? Just flat, correct?
He said the level...
Stutter for me. He said it was flat. He compared what horizontal was. He made it explicitly clear, didn't he, Bev? That would be FLAT flat, says the surveyor.
Curvature, Nathan.
That's what he said with respect to horizontal, didn't he?
Yeah, I know you're obsessed with it, Nathan.
Sorry, you asked him what it was. We're describing horizontal. He said it's flat, correct?
No, Nathan.
There's that stony silence.
He calls it vertical.
Oh, sorry, he said that flat. No, he didn't say vertical. I'm pretty sure he said flat twice. He definitely didn't say vertical when you were asking about horizontal and that. Not measurements of Earth and that, but the horizontal that we'll be sailing on when we asked the surveyor, it was flat, right, Bev?
You're doing a bit of a project about level.
Sorry, no, I didn't ask you about your project, mate.
Right. It's horizontal, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing else.
See, I call it vertical because it's up and down.
Right.
Right, he calls it vertical because it's up and down.
Keep going.
Like, pretty much like sea level.
Or do you want to keep playing it?
It goes up and...
Sorry, do you want to keep playing it, or we're just going to get to hear what you've got to say? We're not going to get to hear what the surveyor's got to say. Keep playing.
Well, that's what the surveyor said, right? So he's already said vertical because it's up and down.
Okay, what else did he say?
Perpendicular, isn't it?
Yeah.
Horizontal and vertical. Level is... It's not curved at all, is it?
No, it's flat.
It's not curved at all, is it?
So level is not curved at all. Okay.
Absolutely, yes. That's
so
something that we can say.
So sea level, like we sail on, my original question that you obfuscated, sea level is flat then?
No, Nathan.
So the surveyor made it absolutely clear that it's flat though, Bev?
He said it was vertical because it's...
No, he said level. You clarified afterwards what level was, and he specifically responded to what level was with flat, didn't he?
Yeah, see?
Yeah. It's always a really quick yeah when you get pummeled. So sea level, as clarified, that's what we're sailing on. That's flat.
But all the horizontal planes are parallel, Nathan.
Yeah, Earth's flat, and you've got horizontal planes parallel with the flat plane that we sail on when we sail on the sea, which is level, which is flat, according to your surveyor.
And they go up and down.
No, he said it was flat.
Level.
Yeah, like sea level. Yeah. When we ask what level is flat. That's how we're dealing with the Earth. You still haven't noticed, audience. He still hasn't answered my question. Given that he's saying it could be curved in some weird reason when he's surveying the land, I ask how that could be the case when we go out and sail on the flat, level seas that have no elevation change. How can it be anything other than a completely flat Earth when we sail on it level with respect to sea level? Yeah, they go up and down a little bit, Bev, but it's still level across the entirety of the known charted world. And what's level? According to your surveyor, when specifically asked with you referencing what he'd be answering, that's what level is. Level is flat, according to your surveyor.
Level has no curvature.
So flat then, like your surveyor said then. Yeah, it's just flat then.
Level, yes.
Yeah, so just flat then.
Level, yes.
Yeah, and we're going to sail on sea level. And that's how it all works. No elevation changes when we're navigating. It's just done with respect to sea level. And while it might vary slightly, yeah, the seas they go up and down, they got waves and stuff. Yeah, we appreciate that, Bev. But as an overall, when you've got a map in front of you, the map doesn't hover up and down off the mapping table, which is flat, Bev. Because you're charting and navigating the Earth flat. Level, flat, like your surveyor says. Flat.
Yeah, the land's different, isn't it, Nathan?
What? Have we got more land than sea?
Ask Brian.
Have we got more land than sea? Because when we're sailing, we're definitely covering more area than we're charting with surveying. There's definitely a great deal of sea that we can establish an overall topology with and we have and we do, and it's flat. Level. With respect to sea level. The average thereof, it's flat. Level. Like your surveyor said. That got your tongue?
Have you got any other
You got a question for me? So why would we sail on a sea that's flat if you infer it's curved? It's the third time I've asked.
The surveyor wasn't talking about sailing on the sea.
I'm asking
Nathan.
you. I'm asking you. Could be curved.
I don't know anything about sailing on the sea, Nathan.
Oh, let me inform you. We sail on the seas flat. We take angles with respect to the surface that's flat. It can only be flat for us to sail and navigate a huge amount of area while you're piddling around in your little bits of land. The whole of the seas have been charted flat, and we sail on them flat and navigate on them flat. Now, we can navigate on the land with the same principles, even though there's elevation changes on the land.
Yeah,
but in terms of our navigation, while you've got that social problem where you need to talk through evidence of Earth being flat, like described by your surveyor, level, like with sea level, like we've charted the whole world, flat, Bev. You understand flat, right?
It's
level?
Not flat, no.
Yeah, maybe you can mumble through me. Maybe that's a social problem you need to go and see a counsellor about, where you mumble through people while they're talking. You should be listening, son. Yeah, get your faculties checked out by a doctor. You have problems, my friend. Now I'm going to make it absolutely explicitly clear because you seem stupid. Earth is flat. Good. Glad we got that cleared up. You seem to be going around telling everyone it's not flat. You're wrong.
Well, it's not.
Oh, because you measure your little piddly areas with respect to flat, how not flat it is compared to our flat. We know it is because we've charted the whole world that we know of.
Yeah, but I have to say we're going into a category area here. Flat is a description. You can describe the whole world as flat. There is no better description for the whole entire world that we are aware of than flat. There's no way to describe it better than that. But flat only describes. It's not geometry, it's not geometric claim. As I said earlier...
It is when Nathan says it's measured flat.
Hang on, Bev, hang on. As I said earlier, with celestial navigation and aerospace, they're only dealing with two-dimensional horizontal measurements. So yes, you can describe them as flat. You can describe the measurement if you want.
Well, we're sailing in that.
When it comes to some...
Like I asked Bev about. Hold on. Bev's saying, hold on. I just want to vindicate myself because Bev said, no, he doesn't understand much about sailing, but he's telling me what I can't say about measuring Earth flat. No, Bev, don't comment on what I can't do when you just don't understand the subject matter. We know you don't know much about negotiating Earth, travelling out, charting the world. We know you don't know. So how dare you tell me what I'm not allowed to say in this respect, Dumbo? Go and learn about celestial navigation. You'll learn about how we measure Earth flat, as opposed to telling me based on your limited understanding of surveying, when the surveyor's telling you that level's flat and we deal with sea level. That's all you need to know, sunshine. Yeah, I've tried to lay it out to you. You've had a lot of your social anxiety projected through me while you jabber. I've given you a recommendation about going to a doctor about that, or maybe seeing a counsellor, getting your social anxiety sorted out, learning how to communicate, like someone who isn't retarded. I've given you recommendations. I've told you how Earth's measured flat. Now, bugger off. Yeah? Nobody likes you, Bev. We all despise you. And Edabay, a little white knight that feels he needs to rumpus on top of your own existing, very irritating rumpusing. We're just trying to correct you. We're trying to help you, Bev. But there is a certain amount of social anxiety that you're obviously suffering from that we can't help you with here. You need doctors for that sort of thing. Now, get lost. Go and sort your problems out, your mental problems. Yeah, we can only tell you how Earth's measured. It's flat, okay? Now, how flat it isn't with respect to flat isn't something we are interested in. We understand your point, Bev. We've heard it. Clear?
I think this is going all the wrong way. Personally, I think it's going all the wrong way. Every time it ends up being this big, nasty, bitter thing that happens every time. It doesn't have to be. I like Bev. I like a lot of what Bev says. I don't agree with everything that Bev says, but I don't disagree with something that when it's correct. Right? We don't need to do that. Right? Bev is not on the same route or same mode as we're on. But that doesn't mean that we have to hate each other. We don't have to do that.
Yeah, Brian, we're saying Earth is flat and he's saying it's not. What are you talking about? We're coming across saying Earth is flat. Earth is flat. He's over there saying Earth is not flat. Come on.
That flat is a description. So you can't use it against someone in a geometric way.
Brian, is Earth flat, Brian?
As a description, yeah, there's no better way of describing it.
So why is Bev running around saying Earth is not flat, not flat, not flat? Isn't that a little red flag?
Yeah, because he's pointing out that in surveying, which he has a certificate of, you're measuring elevation changes. So that within that discipline, you can't be claiming to be measuring everything flat. You can only claim to be measuring everything with respect to a horizontal plane, that being mean sea level. That's all you can do.
Is mean sea level flat?
Yeah.
Mean sea level is flat.
Yeah. Surveyor that told Bev made it explicitly clear when Bev asked him about what level was that's flat.
So we have.
Yeah, really, you're just referencing a point.
Sorry, Bev, why aren't you at the police station? You've been stolen from, my friend. You've got better fish to fry. Shouldn't you be down the police station? Just content theft, Nate. Sorry, yeah. Shouldn't you be down the police station reporting that content theft? Because you've got things to worry about that needs the police's involvement, not ours, Bev. Yeah, you want to go and address this with someone that can concern themselves with it. It's not us. The police aren't... Yeah, go to the police, that's right. Go to the police while we discuss the debate. We know where your priorities lie, Bev. Yeah, 12 cents has been lost, and that's the main priority here, even though you spent a prolonged period debating about this very issue with us. Yeah? You've been debating about the issue, but it's not about whether or not it's theft. Yeah? I wonder why you debated about this for so long, Bev, given that it's absolutely inconsequential to the fact that you've been stole from. I mean, that's the real issue when you've spent a prolonged period defending this not flat point when your surveyor says level's flat. What's that? It's just about the principle of theft? Yeah, it's really glaring to the audience at this point, having just debated this very subject for a prolonged period. The real reason why you gave out that copyright strike, Bev. There's not a single person in the audience that thinks you're somehow righteous. No way, Bev. Nobody thinks you're righteous. Nobody thinks you've been stolen from. Everybody knows that you've just spent the last 20 minutes debating the very point that you took down when you made that copyright strike. And that's that surveyor says flat. Doesn't he, Bev?
It's an entire video, Nathan.
Flat.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's what level is. You made it explicitly clear, didn't you, Bev?
Level is a straight line on a horizontal plane. Yes, Nathan.
Yeah, that's what we sail on, Bev. Cat got your tongue? No response?
You sail on a straight line?
Yes. Sea level.
Wow. Goes up and down, Nathan.
Yeah. Do you think we're that stupid that we don't know waves exist, Dumbo? Yeah, we appreciate that, Bev.
Like
we know it's an average, Bev, and that the sea moves, but as an overall topology of the land that's being negotiated, it is all flat. There is no better word to describe it. That's why the maps are flat, Bev. There's your social problem again. It's me in the middle of telling you something about something you don't know. Maybe if you talk through the middle of this education you're getting, you'll learn better. No, go to a doctor or the police or whatever you prioritise higher than the debate you've just spent 20 minutes in, because it's not about the debate. That's lesser. That's still up as a video.
This isn't even a debate.
Really? Level's flat. And that's what we're sailing on. 5th time I've put this to you.
Yeah, is that your proposition that you're putting forward for this debate?
No, it's called, write this down, get a pen, celestial navigation, Bev. No, it's not an argument and a point I'm putting to you. It's a principle that saves lives at sea. It's got a title. It's called celestial navigation. It's flat, Bev. The whole world is being there's their social problem again, right? So he didn't understand he was wrong. I've corrected him, but he thinks he needs to talk through me. Maybe I should ask it instead of tell you what to do. Maybe if I take a more gingerly approach to your mental problems that you have here, Bev. Maybe if I try and be a bit more ginger. What's the problem, Bev? What's your mental malfunction? Tell us what the problem is. You feel this is a counselling session rather than a debate, don't you? Yeah? That's what's happening here. You need help, and you think we are going to give it you, or you need what? Criminal advice? And you think you need to tell us about what you're going to be reporting, the theft that you've lost, the 12 cents. Yeah? I think you're in the wrong place, Bev. You know, we've got things to do here. We're telling the world how it's flat, and you're objecting based on things you don't understand and asking me if it's a debating point I've got. No, did you write it down? Celestial navigation, son, the thing you don't know much about. That's right. The Earth is flat, as proven by the principle that saves lives at sea called celestial navigation. That's right. Did you write it down, son? On your pop to the police.
I came in because John was saying something about a copyright strike that somebody
No, we
got.
don't care about that. You need to go to the police about your theft. We're not the police. Are you slow?
John brought it up first.
We are not the police. You need to go and report your 12 cents of theft to the police. We tell people how Earth is flat, like your surveyor told you about our level. That's what we're going to be sailing on, Bev. Ah, that's flat? Yeah. Is it
Michael
sinking in?
Kahn it was, actually.
Sorry, Bev. I didn't hear you talk while I was talking. My bad.
I did.
Oh, well, that's all that matters. It matters what Bev hears himself say. Are you mental?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you are.
You using your gate to stop everybody from hearing.
You mean when I talk, everyone else gets to shut up because you all get gated out of what I say? Yeah, that's right. I have a gate on my line, so when I talk, I get heard on my show. Is that an objectionable thing?
No, I was just pointing out that I don't.
Oh, really? Oh, how fascinating. Like any girl, vote now if you give a crap what Bev does. Nobody cares. You keep appealing to my audience about what you do with your son, what you're trying to achieve when you talk to the surveyor, how you run your show. Nobody cares, Bev. Are you really this self-obsessed? It's unbelievable. It's very amusing to me. You're mentally deranged. You're delusional. Tell us all about how we care about what you say when we don't hear it because you've said it through the top of someone who's educating you.
Come on,
but I heard it.
Out, Nathan.
You're
Come
mental.
Come on, there's nobody else that could come here for you so you can do this. Come on.
Sorry, I didn't understand that as a coherent sentence fragment. Do you want to try again?
Go on. Get it out, Nathan. Come on.
May I ask Brian a question?
Yeah, feel free.
Brian, did you expect him to deny sea level applies to the Earth?
Mean sea level? Well, I didn't hear Bev deny that it applied to the Earth. What I heard was Bev
Yeah, he did.
Hang on.
When?
What I heard, leave me a second. What I heard, now Bev can correct me, and you can go back on the audio, and I don't know. What I heard was Bev said that mean sea level is different in different places. Now, I don't agree with that, because I don't think it's worded correctly. What he should have said, from my knowledge, is that mean sea level, that tides are different in different places. So, but the mean can't be different. The mean in the UK and the mean everywhere else in the world must be the same. Otherwise, level is not horizontal, and sea level is not level. It's the mean. So that part I disagree with, but I didn't hear Bev deny that mean sea level wasn't referenced to the Earth. I didn't hear that. Now, it could be wrong, but I didn't hear that.
But does mean sea level apply to the entire Earth?
You broke up, John. Ask again.
Dear.
You broke up, John.
Oh, sorry, my internet's going bad.
No, you just sound like you've unplugged your mic. Does mean sea level apply to the Earth, Bev?
Not the whole Earth, no. It applies to the one place where it's measured. And it's the mean for that location.
Right,
But Bev, would that mean not be the same mean everywhere else? It can't not be. The mean has to be the same. All those points, all those mean sea level points, if they're joined together, they must create a horizontal plane.
They do.
Can't join them together, though.
Sorry, they do. It's called celestial navigation. It's called mapping. What are you babbling about? Why are you denying this? You've already exclaimed that you don't know this. Sorry, so maps.
No, I do know this.
So maps.
I'm telling you.
Maps operate on multiple.
Hang on,
excuse me. So you believe maps operate on multiple levels? Do you, Dumbo? No, they don't.
No,
this is a principle that's established.
The UK,
Shut up, Mr. I need help.
I say you know.
Shut up, Mr. I need help.
All right, go on.
I don't need your permission. I need you to shut your dumb mouth that needs social help. You don't know how to interact. No, that is how maps operate, Dumbo. Hello? That's how a map works? Yeah, Earth is flat, Bev. You're just dumb. You need to study what celestial navigation is, what mapping is, how maps work. You're just thick. You're saying, oh no, it only works for a single point. What, when you're looking at a rolled out map of the world, Dumbo? Sea level only applies to a single point on that full map of the world that's rolled out flat, that only has one reference on a 2D map for all of the world, Bev, you stupid clown. Do you feel you need to rattle something off through the top of me, do you, Dumbo? You don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid. Yeah? Now go away and educate yourself. You're irritatingly stupid. No, nothing. No response. Not even an acknowledgement. Absolutely typical of Bev the Dumbo. Shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, you seem to have some issue with me. I'm trying to point stuff out to you. If you don't want to point it out, that's not my fault. It's not my fault. But it's not my fault.
It's the inference.
It's not Brian's fault if you don't like things being pointed out to you. Not Brian's fault.
Okay.
If you want to ask me questions, I'll answer you.
Yeah, but John's pointing things out to you.
I don't need any straw man attacks. Don't need any of that.
Yeah, but Brian, hold on. When John is pointing something out to you, you're not wanting to hear it.
I still didn't get to answer the questions you asked me.
Right, lads.
So, yeah, maybe we should, because you're not allowing me to answer the questions.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You're all a bit young. You've all had a bit too much to drink. Now get lost.
Right. There seems to be a distinction being made between horizontal and flat. Are we to say horizontal is not?
You can describe horizontal as flat. That's why it's a synonym of the word horizontal. And horizontal is a synonym of flat. You can describe it as flat. You can describe vertical as flat. You can describe a slope as flat. Right? You can describe your table as flat, the floor as flat, and you can describe the earth as flat. I have no hassle with that. If someone doesn't like that description, then I'm okay with their objection as long as they can give a more correct description. Then I will use that one.
Yeah, but
until I hear a more correct description, I will continue stating that the earth is described as flat. The only way to describe the earth is flat. I will continue saying that.
Hold on. Let me just redirect this slightly because orientation is with respect to Earth. Do you think vertical is flat?
Vertical
or exactly the same thing I was trying to say. You can never say a horizontal is vertical. That is absolutely nonsense. That's against everything that we know and that we are using as a fact. Vertical is not horizontal. It's against vertical. So that is the point. Horizontal is
right. Flat has different meanings when you use it in different ways. When you're talking about vertical as it relates to itself, you could describe it as flat if only speaking in the two-dimensional plane of vertical. But vertical as an orientation is not flat. And it is an orientation. Vertical is an orientation. So vertical is not flat, it's vertical.
No. Flat is a description, John. Vertical is an orientation. You can describe something as flat, regardless of its orientation. You don't.
So when something is laying. So when something is vertical, it's laying flat.
Let me explain it. If you're saying horizontal,
the word laying,
then you can never talk about. Then you can never talk about vertical. But you can say it is a flat vertical as a flat line. Yeah, you can say that. Therefore, you can say a vertical is flat, but you can never say a vertical is horizontal because that is orientation.
Yeah, but nobody is saying that, Johnny. Well, my point being is that you can describe different orientations as flat, right? If you're saying laying flat, then you can't describe vertical as laying flat because that has a particular. You're referencing horizontal. You're referencing the orientation of horizontal, right? Yeah, but if you're talking about just a description, I can describe my wall in the kitchen as flat. I can also describe the floor that it makes as flat. The kitchen as flat, or the table as flat. I can describe those things as flat. The door I can describe as
I
flat,
understand.
even though that's in vertical.
You're right about that, but in the same time you're talking about horizontal, then it's out of the discussion, because that is absolutely
I'm not,
something
Johnny.
else.
I'm not doing that. No one's doing that. I think you've mixed up stuff a bit.
How can I?
Keep saying about your table, Brian, right? Well, your table as a whole isn't flat, is it? Just the surface of the top of your table is what you would call flat. But for the whole of the table, you wouldn't describe it as being flat, would you?
Well, like you did with the whiteboard.
Well, hang on. Leave me 1 second, Nathan.
Bev described his whiteboard as flat.
Hang on. Yeah, I know he does. Bev, you describe a whiteboard as flat, even though you know it's not unique.
The surface of the whiteboard is flat, yes.
Excuse me. Hang on. Leave me finish.
The whole thing of the whiteboard isn't.
Hang on. Nathan, you should have left me off there. Right? Hang on, Bev. Flat is a description. It is not a geometric claim or a geometric term. You will not find flat in Euclid's Elements or from Pythagoras as some kind of a geometric claim. It is a way of describing. You're describing a surface. You describe the surface as flat. So yes, it is correct for me to describe my kitchen table as flat. Doesn't matter about the undulations that it has on the small microscopic level. What matters is how I can describe it, and it is correct to describe it as flat. If you think there's a better description, then I'm open to suggestion.
You're absolutely right. You can have your kitchen table in a different angle, and it's still flat. Yes, of course.
Meanwhile, Earth's always horizontal, and it is flat.
Yeah, but if you're talking about horizontal, then you cannot, because the horizontal orientation related, you cannot change that, and that is exactly against the vertical. That is exactly
Nathan, Nathan, is the name of your show Flat Earth Table Debate or all of this other nonsense? It's Flat Earth Debate, not Table Flat Debate. Come on now. We're being ridiculous.
Yeah, but we are just using another reference. Okay.
The context of how you use the word changes the meaning of the word. When you're talking about the entire Earth or an orientation, it changes its context. Does people understand context? We don't just pick out one definition and stick with that, right? Everybody gets that, right?
Yeah, I get that.
Context is important.
Context is everything.
Right. So when you're talking about in relation to an orientation, sloped is not flat. Vertical is not flat. But now when you're talking about vertical and you're describing it, right? You can use the word flat to describe.
No.
You can use the term flat to describe vertical in relation to itself, but not as an orientation.
Vertical plane.
Yeah, that you describe that as flat. I don't see what the problem
is. You could describe a plane as flat, but not the orientation. It doesn't matter. That's the point we're trying to put across here.
I just said that.
Well, you seem to be saying that flat and horizontal are the same. They're synonyms. Well, I don't think they are. But they may be described as that in a book or whatever.
What you mean? They may be defined
horizontal.
Sorry, hold on.
Horizontal is a plane.
Okay, Bev, you object to the fact that flat is a synonym. You don't like that, is what you've just said. You don't mind that. You don't like, or I can't remember how you phrased it, but in some way, the fact that it is defined that way in books, you don't like.
It's to refer the horizontal
I'm still talking. Go and get that help. Medical help needed. Yeah. In spite of the fact that it's freaking defined that way, you don't like it. Yeah. It's defined that way, Dumbo. It is a synonym. You don't have to like it. It is. Do you want to repeat that you don't think it is? Because somehow in your delusional la-la land of everybody cares what Bev thinks about this stuff, we don't give a crap how you define what level and flat are in respect to horizontal. No, we don't care, Bev. When it's defined and is a synonym, you can look it up. What, you don't like that when you look it up, it is a synonym? Go to La La Land, where the world of Bev matters to everybody else, when you can define these things and they've got synonyms next to them. It is a synonym, Dumbo. Don't care if you like that or not. Do you understand?
To show that it's a plane.
Sorry, do you understand that it is a synonym regardless of the fact that you don't like that? Do you understand that it is a synonym, Dumbo? It is. But you objected that horizontal would have flat as a synonym. It is. Are you thick or deaf, or what is your problem? Is it just when I'm talking that you need to be talking? When I've got a short point that you haven't got time to talk straight to the top of? What's going on? It is a synonym. You objected based on the land of Bev. La La Land objects. Nobody cares. Now I'm asking you, Dumbo, even though you object, Dumbo, thicko, retard. It is a synonym, you stupid moron. It is, whether you like it or not.
The ad homs don't help you advance your...
You telling me what La La Land Bev cares about when it comes to synonyms of words? It is a synonym. I want you to acknowledge that fact, regardless of how much you like it. It is a synonym.
Well, then vertical is an antonym.
Don't give me a consequence. Repeat after me. I understand. Flat and horizontal are synonyms.
They're the same. Give me a second.
Brian, we're not dealing with a rational man. Because somehow, in this man's mind, if he objects to something that is defined in a particular way, or has a synonym that's listed as a synonym, because in Bev La La Land he doesn't like that, that somehow in his mind has relevance. Now, when we discussed in the pre-show, the people that have no standards, the people that, regardless of whether or not you appeal to them with logic, or show him a freaking synonym, according to Bev, that's a problem. Now, me asking him like a reasonable man would, I mean, I'm exacerbated because I'm irritated with a thicko, and he's objecting to the ad homs. No, they're facts. When a moron village idiot tells me that because he objects to the list of synonyms, they're not. No, they are still synonyms, regardless of your stupid village idiot objection, Bev. And before we move forward or Brian jumps in to appeal to you, the village idiot, it's not an ad hom. Someone who says, because I don't want it to be a synonym, it is one, and I want acknowledgement of that fact. Don't tell me is it your argument point? No, it's a fact. I just have to look up horizontal and see what the list of synonyms says about it. Yeah, you object. Who cares? Can you acknowledge that fact? Please, Bev.
We're going to get a chance to go through the logical implications of this, right?
No, we're just going to get you to acknowledge what synonyms are, because you seem to, in La La Land, defy what they are when they are what they are. I'm asking you to acknowledge that flat and horizontal are synonyms in spite of your Bev La La Land protestations.
Okay, you link the synonyms together.
Which synonyms would they be? Which ones? Which ones? Are they the ones you denied 5 minutes ago?
Vertical would negate your flat argument for your synonyms.
Excuse me, are you having a poo? Are you on the toilet currently? Is that why you are straining? Is that the problem? Are you defecating currently? Why are you straining your words out, Bev? I'm asking, are you currently defecating, Bev? Because I would prefer not to be talking to you if that is the case. Mentally insane people tend to do these things. Stop straining and listen. They are synonyms, and the village idiot's going to acknowledge that before we move on, Bev. You're not going to ask me what we'll be doing in consequence of that. Just acknowledge that what you said in La La Land about what won't be synonyms because you object isn't relevant, because La La Land isn't what we live in. It is a synonym, flat, horizontal. You just have to look it up, Dumbo. Yeah? So can you acknowledge that before we move on and do anything, please?
So the vertical measurement would be the antonym implicate...
Yeah, for the audience's benefit, that's non-responsive. We're talking about synonyms. It's a simple acknowledgement of the fact that it is one. Non-responsive.
Any elevation change measured in the vertical would deny your flatness, Nathan.
Right, we're asking about synonyms that you've denied in La La Land still. Third time's a charm.
I agree with what Bev is saying up to a point. If you allow me to,
up until the point that we look it up and it is a synonym, is that the point that you would stop objecting?
No, that's not the point. No.
Well, I would object based on the fact that it is factually a synonym, and he doesn't want to acknowledge that, but you seem to now be agreeing with him.
No. It's up to yourself. If you want to listen to me, you can. If you don't, I'll just go on mute. If you think I don't have anything to add or offer,
go ahead.
Then it's fine.
Fine.
So what Bev is the point when Bev said, right now, I was on this before he said it. When Bev, because I also have a problem, right, with the way things are being defined in dictionaries, for instance, right. When Bev said, then that would make vertical an antonym, right. That was a very valid point. As far as I'm concerned, horizontal, slope, and vertical should be synonyms of flat, or flat synonyms of them. And that's when Bev said that would make vertical an antonym, that's a contradiction. Because vertical can also be described as flat. But how can it be described as flat and horizontal be described as flat if flat is only a synonym of horizontal?
So we're changing dictionaries now.
It's not about changing dictionary. It's about standards, about specifics and standards, Neil.
Yeah, words have meaning.
Define orientation.
That's right, Neil. They do. That's Bev's point.
Define orientation
for a moment. Go on.
Define orientation, and that in this. Define what orientation is.
A specific direction. I don't know the exact definition for orientation. I'm not going to pretend I do.
A specific direction with respect to how we experience up and down, left to right.
A specific direction, if you were talking about measurement or coordinates, directions, I don't know. Horizontal is an orientation. Vertical is an orientation, right? They're both orientation.
Let's just define it. Orientation, the action of orientating something or someone relative to the points of a compass or other specified positions.
Right. So when you use flat in relation to your orientation, you cannot describe yourself as vertical. But when you describe vertical alone as a single aspect, you can describe it as flat. You understand what I just said?
I do.
Yeah, I understood that. I mean, you can describe vertical as flat. You can describe horizontal as flat. You can describe slope as flat. You can describe a lot of things
unless
flat,
you were
as long
speaking
as
about
they meet the description.
As long as you're not talking about their orientation.
Well, who cares about the orientation? It's the description you're talking about. You're describing. Flat has no connection to orientation. It's a description. It's not connected to orientation.
Up and down is up and down in relation to your orientation.
No.
Well, up and down is. It's in relation to a horizontal.
Yes.
When it's in respect to horizontal.
It's a vertical, up and down. They're on the vertical.
Right. Okay. So if you want to isolate your vertical and just speak about it with the description, flat is okay. But now when you're talking about overall, as using the word flat as an orientation, it must be horizontal.
Well, no, flat horizontal is described as flat. That's the issue I have, and I think Bev can agree or disagree. Has a similar issue where I'm saying, why is horizontal a synonym of flat or flat a synonym of horizontal? But vertical doesn't have that synonym, and neither does slope. They should have also for correctness.
Let me give it to you. My wall is flat. Is my wall laying flat? That would be its orientation.
No.
Yeah, but no, because you've added in the word laying. We're just talking about the description of your wall. Laying is an added word.
So orientation affects what you're talking about, right?
It doesn't affect the description of flat.
It affects how the word flat is used doesn't it?
No.
Don't
Not
see how
modern
it does.
day.
No, I don't see it all.
It,
No.
it doesn't. So my wall
No.
is laying vertical or flat.
No, you've added in the word laying. The word flat. Where is the word laying? You keep on adding in a word that.
Laying.
No, I'm talking about the word flat. I'm talking about the word flat.
Laying involves orientation.
Yeah,
right?
because when you add the word laying,
Yes.
then you're obviously referring to horizontal. But that's a reference to
Right.
horizontal.
Right. But I said flat. I didn't say horizontal. I didn't say.
It doesn't matter.
I did not say my. I did not say my wall is laying horizontal. I said.
It doesn't matter. You said the word laying.
Brian, I can't hear either of you. All I can hear is it doesn't matter. Hello? Hello, I can't hear either of the argument points.
Yeah, because he can't shut up.
You too.
I worked in construction, John, and we talked about things laying horizontal, and we described them also as laying flat. The laying word comes before horizontal or before flat, but laying horizontal comes first in construction. So if you say something is laying flat, then you are referencing horizontal. That doesn't mean that vertical can't be described as flat.
Okay.
Or that flat is connected.
No, vertical
hold on.
Flat is not exclusive.
Okay, I agree, Brian. Yes, you can describe it. You can climb up a flat wall.
Right. Now that we understand that, but when I put the word laying in, is my wall laying flat?
No, colloquially.
If you use the word laying, no, it's the wrong orientation.
You've stuck it in. Hold on, Brian. You've stuck it in. I think the objection is it's a colloquialism, is it not? As opposed to a description that's going to have any mathematical quantification when you insert laying. You've got a colloquial description of an orientation.
It changes the context of flat to apply to being a synonym of horizontal. That's what laying does in that sentence. It changes flat to where it can't be vertical.
In language, I would agree, but it's a perspective of the person you're talking to. Obviously, there's a disagreement, so I would agree with you.
That is what I was trying to say for many minutes ago. How can you talk about the same thing again and again and again? I thought it was finito.
No.
We haven't gotten to the end of it.
We'll be refining this. This is the Socratic method. You're aware of the Socratic method, Johnny?
Yeah, but we understand the orientation, and we understand horizontal. Yeah, it can be flat in a different angle, but we are not talking about that. We are talking about the orientation. What's the problem?
There is. You, me, and John agree there isn't one. Brian and Bev don't. What do you want?
I think we are misunderstanding. I hope so. We are just misunderstanding Brian.
No, there is an issue. I do have an issue. I don't know if Bev is in agreement with me, but my issue is that there is no reason why flat shouldn't be a synonym of vertical and slope, because they are also straight lines.
What is horizontal against
they're also straight lines.
Okay.
Flat is a description, Johnny.
We have to take it out now. Okay. What is exactly against vertical? And thinking about the orientation and how we understand balance. What is balance?
What are you talking about, Johnny? I don't know where you're going to. My point is
balance
that
is horizontal. That is orientation, and that is finito. There's nothing more to talk about.
We're talking about flat and the description of flat. My point being,
yes, we understand that.
My point is that horizontal, vertical, and slope are all straight lines, so they can all be described as flat. I don't see what the problem is, and I think they all should have the synonym of flat in a dictionary. Yeah.
But flat has different meanings based on context. And when you go into orientation,
Brian, he only got halfway through that. Come on, you just literally 2 minutes ago moaned about him saying he couldn't shut up. Come on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, flat, the context of how you use flat changes its meaning. And when you're talking about something's orientation, right? Flat does not work for vertical because that is how it lies. How something lies is its orientation.
How about instead of flat, when we're talking about orientation, we just say cis? How about that?
But flat has nothing to do with orientation. So I don't know why you're bringing orientation into it. Flat's a description of the surface.
I'm out. It's crazy.
No, you
Flat is a
don't want
description of a
flat to
surface.
have anything to do with orientation.
Absolutely
But when you were
does.
talking about
It depends on context. If you're talking about a patient and the doctor says, yeah, get the patient flat, who's going to strap him? Is somebody going to be strapping him into a flat wall? What are you talking
lay
about?
him down, of course, yeah.
No, it's
You understand
absolutely
that context.
contextually to do with orientation then, isn't it, Brian? Come on.
Only in context. Only in context.
That's what he's saying. That's what his point is. Bloody hell, Brian.
But no, but that doesn't change the. But flat is not connected to orientation. It's not reliant on orientation.
Oh, why are you doing
this? It is not.
Oh,
it is not.
Colloquially, it is, depending on context.
Because the doctor can say, lay him horizontal. The doctor can also say that.
He could, but most of the time they'll just say flat. It's colloquially in that.
I'm sorry, this is weak. This is weak. That doesn't wash with me at all.
No,
flat is a description of a surface, Nathan.
That's how it's used.
It is not an orientation.
That's how it's used in context. Sorry. What do you want?
It's how it's used as an adjective. If you're laying somebody's flat, it's an adverb.
There you go.
Thank you. Adam,
I could lay a flat against the wall, Nathan.
Adam with the save. Oh, I couldn't think of the word.
Hang on, John, before you go jumping around as if you got some kind of victory that you did not ever get. Right? I can lay you flat against the wall, Nathan. How about that?
Pushed him up flat
John,
again.
Put that in your pipe and smoke.
If you said something, no, hold on, stop. He's put it to me. Hello.
You could stand him against the wall. You ain't laying nobody flat against the wall.
I can lay Nathan flat up against the wall. I can lay a piece of plywood. I can lay
Brian, please.
I can lay a sheet of plywood.
Hello, Brian, please. Can you let the aggressive Italian have his point? Go ahead.
You do not lay anybody flat against the wall. You put them against the wall, but you never describing them laying flat against the wall. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I do. And we do here. I can lay something flat up against the wall. I can lay Nathan flat against the wall. Once I
lay in bed, am I against the wall? When I lay in bed, I'm vertical.
No, you're laying horizontally in bed. And you can describe that as flat.
We all need to stop. We all need to slow down. Everybody, hello. We all need to slow down. We're going. Stop. Hello, Neil. I'm trying to. Neil. Stop. Brian, please. I'm trying to take control. Can we all just slow down? We're going flat out currently.
Yeah. See, what's wrong here is people think that they're after getting some little victory over me that they didn't fucking get.
No swearing.
This shouldn't be a victory situation.
Right, I'm going to change the subject.
Stop. What I'm saying is true, and there is no denying it. End of story.
Okay, let me agree with you to calm you down. Right. I will. Stop! I'm going to agree with you, please. I'm trying to get your blood pressure down. You don't need to rumpus me. I'm going to agree with you.
That's what I need.
Thank you. I just need you to calm down while I agree with you. Right? I agree. You can push someone flat up against the wall. Yeah? I will agree with you. Because in principle, there is nothing wrong with describing someone who is doing.
7 minutes,
I'm not halfway through the sentence yet, Brian. Please.
Because you're hoping you want John to get some kind of a win over me.
No, I don't. I'm agreeing with you.
Yes, you do.
No, I'm trying to agree with you. I'm just not getting to the end of half a sentence before I try and agree with you. I'm telling you in advance, I'm agreeing with you. Okay.
You could have agreed with me 5 minutes ago.
I agree with both of you in principle. I've said this on multiple times when we've had. This is the 18th time we've had this conversation, and every time I come to the same conclusion at the end of it. You are right, Brian. Right? A plasterer. Yeah? He's doing the walls today. Make sure you get them nice and flat. Right, Brian?
No, smooth. No, smooth. Yes. Not flat, smooth. That's something I do.
The surface is
unless he's doing stipple effect.
My God, Neil.
What's that, Beth? Unless he's doing stippling.
When I freaking float a floor or tape a freaking compound Sheetrock, I don't say a compounded flat. You get that shit smooth.
It's the surface, Neil. You're describing the surface as flat. You're describing the vertical surface, the slope surface, or the horizontal surface as flat. It's a description. Why can you not get this into your head? It is not geometry. It is
well, you turn it around and you say a
Please stop yelling at each other.
Well, Nathan said it.
Hello, there's only so much overloaded mic I can take. Either step 2 feet away from your mics or just stop yelling at each other.
Can we go back to Adam's point? No, let's go back to Adam's point because his is most relevant. Adverb and adjective. If you're not using it as a description, you're using it as an adverb, it changes its context, doesn't it?
Yes.
And are we using it when in reference to the earth as a description, or how are we using it, John?
Just a visual surface descriptor, isn't it?
Sorry, Bev?
Say again, Bev.
Flat is just a visual surface descriptor. The moment you get onto a microscope or something, you see it's not flat. That's because in reality, everything is 3D.
Yeah, agreed.
Beef, you don't understand. We are talking about the orientation, and we are talking
We're not
about the
talking
balance.
about the orientation.
Yes, of course we are.
But when let's just try and paraphrase that. Johnny, just one sec.
The point we're trying to say is that flat isn't an orientation.
And when we do talk about orientation,
we talk about horizontal or vertical.
Exactly, horizontal.
Right, level.
And horizontal is level.
Hold on, Johnny.
Well, level is a straight line on a horizontal plane, as I say.
Right. So therefore, to describe it as the surveyor did as flat is perfectly reasonable.
Well, because it lies on the horizontal plane, yeah.
Yeah. So when we describe it being Earth, because that's what we're specifically detailing as flat, that's perfectly reasonable then, isn't it?
No, the level isn't the Earth.
Oh, so when we're navigating the Earth, what we're concerned about is the undulations in the sea level.
Yeah,
and it is
not within surveying, though,
unreasonable to
Nathan.
get to the end of this sentence.
I think people are just trying to tell you that when they see the land, they see the stuff around us, and they see it's not flat. They don't relate it to the water. They don't do that. Most people.
As individuals. Yeah, on a grander scale than the individual can incorporate in their day-to-day life, we've charted the world flat. Why the maps are flat. That's how we measure to get the angles to the stars to work with the charted flat world that we utilise in a process called celestial navigation.
Yeah, I did the cartography I actually measured the land, and we represented that on a map. Right? We didn't measure it flat when we did that.
That's just
but
stupid.
we did represent them on the map.
Bev, do you have a mental issue? I am not trying to take you down.
You're having a go, are you?
Do you have some mental issues?
No, there you go.
No, what Bev said is
it's just ad homing, right? Bev, from Johnny B.
Shh. Yeah, there's going to be a response to what you've said, Bev. Be quiet. Go ahead.
Because
Johnny, please be quiet. Johnny, please be quiet. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
I think it was John.
Bev?
I think it was John.
Well, I was trying to talk about a second ago.
Right. So we measure the topology with reference to a level plane. And that's why we use a map and draw circles.
Not the topology.
He's in the middle of the sentence, Bev. You see, now is an appropriate time, Johnny, to ask if he has mental difficulties. Because that was about 4 words that was got out after I had to clear the airwaves with you and Bev yattering through the top of everybody. Now we've got half a sentence and Bev with his mental incapacity again, showing its light. Yeah, we'll try that again, hopefully without Bev yattering through the middle of it as he puts more distance between the point he's now made and the rebuttal that John's trying to give. What, 2 minutes later, 5 minutes later? Stop doing that, please, Bev. We'll try again, John. Go ahead.
Right. We're describing deviations from the horizontal plane that we are going to draw this map on.
In my opinion, both points are valid. What John said is valid, but what Bev said is also valid. Because when you're doing cartography connected to ordnance survey, you are drawing contours. Isn't it circle contour? Is it contour lines or circles? Contour circles where you're showing the elevations on the map. So you are dealing with elevation changes, even though
Are
it's
those
on the map.
elevations flat? Is each elevation change a flat elevation? Is it represented with undulations, or is each individual elevation change a flat plane?
Flat plane.
It'd be a parallel,
Not a flat
parallel
plane.
plane,
Yeah.
It's all 2D.
You are not dealing with elevation changes.
No, it's all
at
2D.
You are on an ordnance survey map, Johnny.
No.
A three-dimensional
A
ordnance
piece
survey
of
map.
paper that's drawn on is what you've got is lines drawn on a piece of paper that's 2-dimensional, and those lines will have numbers on them that represent the elevation change that you measured in the real world. So what you're representing is how high or low everything referenced to the flat 2D map that you're drawing it on will be with a number next to it. But the system itself is going to go onto a flat map, isn't it?
Yeah, because you always need 180.
That's what we put
180 against the elevation angle you get.
Yeah, onto the flat map.
You always, yes.
Yeah, would it be reasonable?
You cannot get that.
Just out of interest, if I roll that map out flat on a table that's orientated with respect to horizontal, we appreciate that the elevation changes will still be with respect to it being rolled out flat on the flat table that's horizontal. Can we all agree with that, first of all? As a further point. We all agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
yes, if the
just
table
needed a
is
yes, and I got it, and then he starts yattering through the end of my point that hadn't had a conclusion that was made clear. I had a further point to make. Yeah, I have got a further point to make. I just needed an affirmation from somebody. I got it. Thanks, Johnny. So it's flat. We roll it out flat because it's a flat map with respect to the elevation changes with respect to that flatness when we draw out little lines and write numbers on them. Yeah, okay. We've measured out the elevation changes with respect to flatness that is on the map. Then we're going to roll it out against a wall that's also, let's call it flat for Brian. Yeah? But we're still going to describe the elevation changes on the flat wall that's vertical with respect to the land that is unequivocally flat because that's how it's been detailed and measured with respect to its flatness. So it can go into a flat system that can be rolled out flat on a wall or a table, flat. So I just want to make sure that everybody's unequivocally clear that this is most definitely flat, how we are referencing the world and how it's going to be measured and then dealt with thereafter. It is definitely flat. We are all clear about that now, right?
As a description, yes.
I am clear about that. Absolutely, yes.
Excellent. Yeah, so Earth is flat.
Well, I know of no better description for it.
I was talking about the balance. You people are not taking the word balance into the conversation, really. What is balance?
Something
level.
In a category that doesn't apply
I really
here.
want to get understanding about that from you guys, all of you.
So the root word of level, balance. But I mean, we're not talking about that, like Nathan says. I don't know what you're doing.
You don't want to talk about it, but that is horizontal.
No, that's a category error. Having two quantities equal to one another in balance can be put into all sorts of different categories, but I don't know whether or not you'd call level balanced. I mean, you could, I suppose.
I cannot understand it as a category error because you cannot balance in a different angles.
Yeah,
Really.
on a balanced scale. In other words, if you've got a bar with a point that you've got two things dangling on each end of it, then you would put it into a balanced position to reference whether or not the two things had an equal amount of weight. But that tool being in balance and that happening to be when the tool is horizontal doesn't mean that suddenly puts it into this category. It doesn't.
Yeah, but okay, but I have to then say, yes, maybe you're able to get some balance because of using of force from the one side. Then maybe you can hold you, but that is not.
I smell a ham-handed segue. Smell
no, I am not sure. Are we understanding what
and
balance
now can
is?
I hear a slight smile in your voice? I think I smell a ham-handed segue.
I don't know what that is.
Force, you say? Maybe we should focus on this word for a while. Maybe it wasn't a ham-handed segue. Maybe I'm smelling Stilton.
I'm not hand-waving. I'm really getting in at what balance is. It is absolutely a description of horizontal.
You ready for a slight topic change?
Feel free.
Okay. Last week, well, I don't know, last week, the week before, you guys did a 8 inches per mile squared thing because of, I don't know. Adam did a presentation, right? He said something, you derived a new number, right? Well, I then went for a conversation with the 24/7 guys at the politics server about that. And I came up with, I asked them what the half-mile distance would be, the whatever you wanted to call it. If it's 8 inches over a mile, what's the half measurement? And none of them really knew. And I'll save you guys from embarrassment, but it's 2, right? 2 inches for the half distance. And then I pointed out to them that if you went halfway for a half mile and measured 2 inches, and then went the other half mile and measured another 2 inches, you'd only have 4 inches. And the fact that, that seems a little bit, problematic, right? And it becomes more problematic because the more divisions you do for this measurement of whatever they're doing, the lower that number goes. And this was brought to us about 4 years ago when we were doing the water level thing. I think you guys can remember that, right? And we were talking about Slice Barkane and because he had a bending water level experiment and he had 16 100 meters water levels. And we pointed out way back then that, this seems to be a bit of a problem. Well, anyway, that conversation that I had has been taken by a guy called Petey, who's one of the globe geometers, and he calls himself the king of GeoGebra, or I think other people may call him that. And he's going to be taking to GeoGebra tonight to do a video about this incredulity, apparently, of me when I was talking to people. Well, I've also been and had a chat to the guys again this morning, and what do you think about that? With the 8 inches per mile squared making a comeback, right?
How's it relevant to our world?
Well,
what's it reference to? That's the point,
I don't
really.
understand. It is a square. It's like you are describing it that you forget to use the square measurement. So maybe I'm wrong there, but it sounds like you are forgetting to take the square.
Well, when you make a measurement, you're referencing one point to another, much the same as when you're measuring an elevation change. You know a known point, and then you transfer that known value to a different point that's unknown.
Johnny, I'm trying to listen to him, right?
Okay, maybe I'm too...
Well, you notice when he talks about this, I actually want to hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, I thought I understand that. I thought that he forgot to square the measurement because he was saying inches, and then he put
No.
inches.
If you were paying attention, my objection, Bev, immediately agreed with. He's like, well, yeah, what are we actually measuring here? What are we doing? He agreed with me. Now you're harping on about this. Okay, I'll ask you, Johnny, like I asked Bev. What we're measuring again with this? How's this relevant to the world we live in? What are we doing with this again?
Yeah, but we are
Sure,
talking
drop.
about if question. If it is a if question, and if you're doing this, then you have to do it right for the square measurement.
Sorry, but Johnny,
But,
doing this.
maybe
What's
I
this?
must misunderstand.
Johnny. What's this? What is this that we are doing exactly, Purcell? Please, can you tell me what this is that we're doing? What are we doing?
A drop calculation.
Drop calculation. Johnny?
From what to what?
Johnny?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Bev's story. Bev's on a roll. Just let him go.
Okay, I understand. Okay. I'm with you. Let him talk.
Go ahead.
Okay, 8 inches per mile squared is the formula that you've been given, and obviously Adam derived a new number, right? I was just talking to people about the relationship, right? Because maths is meant to be a language, and that language is meant to depict something. And the way I deal with maths is to relate it to reality, right? So the 8 inches per mile squared is a formula that can be used. So if it's 8 inches over a mile, the question I was asking them was, what is it over a half mile, the half distance?
Now I'm confused again.
They came up with all 1.8.
Used for what, Bev?
Well, that's the point, right? It's a drop, supposedly. Jesse Kozlowski, the one time I got a chance to talk to Jesse Kozlowski, he says the level surface drops away from the horizontal at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared. That's what Jesse Kozlowski says.
Welcome
right
to
now,
Flat Earth.
Neptune has also said it's accurate number for the drop.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So, just to be clear, Jesse Kozlowski disclaimed that the level surface, which is where his maths
drops
and the
down.
derivative thereafter will come from.
I'll get it for you.
What's going on?
Okay, I'll get it for you so you can hear it.
Oh, okay. Hold on, everyone stop. He's going to get the soundbite. I want to hear exactly what Jesse said.
Drops down. The level surface drops down from the horizontal plane at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared.
That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. What a soundbite.
Well, he did that years ago, right? And that was the last public appearance that Jesse Kozlowski ever did. And when he was talking to me about that, right? Now, that's an error. That's a flaw.
Well, he
sort of told me that he's not a real surveyor.
Hold on, everyone stop.
Yeah,
hold on, Bev. I think a few people want to respond. I heard Adam, hold on, everyone stop. I heard Adam, then Brian, then John.
Okay, so why is that an error? 8 inches per square mile squared. And we're going to take half a mile and, square it, multiply it by 8, it's 2.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
Well, the problem is that it's a measurement that he says.
Oh, it's an approximation formula.
You can actually make measurements, though, can't you? And when you're measuring elevation changes, there is a difference from the horizontal.
No, it's a formula, Bev.
Isn't there?
We're not measuring reality. It's a theoretical formula. If the Earth was a ball...
No, we are measuring reality, though, Adam.
No, you can't.
Not with 8 inches per mile, you're not.
Bev, no. You see, what Jesse just described was a deviation from surface level, didn't he?
No, that's not what he said.
Level drops.
Again.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, Bev. Could you play the soundbite again?
You want me to get it again?
If you don't mind.
I can't believe you've never heard this. This has been going for years.
I have, Bev. I heard it on when it happened.
The level surface drops down from the horizontal plane at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared.
Yeah, he said the
Doesn't
level...
he sound like Brenda?
Sorry, the level surface, that's surface level. I said surface level, he said level surface. You appreciate that that is the surface. Do you know what a surface is, first of all?
Yeah, but he said it drops down from the horizontal.
Sorry, do we all understand what a level surface or surface level is? If you say no...
Yeah, but he's not referencing the one you're talking about, Neil.
Is he not? What?
No.
Excuse me? Yes, I assure you he is, Brian.
No. If you listen to it again, that's what he says.
Go on, John.
The horizontal he is invoking is his eye level, and he's talking about as he raises an elevation, how the surface level will drop away from that eye level horizontal.
Correct.
No, Jesse Kozlowski's pretending to be a surveyor.
That's correct. That's what he's describing. That John is correct. Brian says no. I'll try Brian. I'm sorry, Bev. What do you mean no? That's correct, John.
No, he's not referencing his eye level. He's speaking about the Earth in specific. He's claiming that level is equidistant from the center of a globe, and he says the level surface drops down from the horizontal plane at a rate of 8 inches per mile squared. He's invoking curved level and saying level is not horizontal. That's what he's saying.
No, what he's doing is he's reacting to a statement that I asked him. Because the reason he said it, I was getting him to have an auto level establishing a horizontal, because everybody knows that auto levels establish horizontals, and stood at the side of a canal. And he said that the level surface, the water, would drop away from the horizontal of the auto level. That's what he was saying.
He said the level surface...
I said that would be an elevation change. A measured change from the horizontal would be an elevation change.
The level surface will drop away. That's what he said.
That's what Jesse Kozlowski says, yeah.
So level surface is a level surface. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Now, describing what you may observe optically with a level surface requires you have a level surface. Do you understand that, first of all?
Yeah. That's the tool. The level.
Yeah, the level surface. No, the level surface. What's a surface, Bev?
Well, he's talking about the canal then, isn't he?
Talking about the level surface. That's what he's talking
about the canal.
So we've got to have a level...
Yes.
So, please. We have to have a level surface.
The canal, yes.
The level surface.
I will come in now.
Why? I'm trying to talk to Bev. I've got to close down Brian and Johnny now.
It's never-ending story.
Bev,
yeah,
I am talking to Bev. If everyone else doesn't shut up, you will all be removed. No, I'm talking to Bev. So the canal, right, is the level surface then, Bev?
Yeah, according to Jesse Kozlowski, yes.
Okay, yeah, surface level. Yeah, they need a surface level to derive their point that will drop. From eye level, that's how the maths functions. First of all, did you appreciate that that is how the maths functions?
The maths functions?
Yes. Jesse's maths is a derivation from surface level. It's utilising eye level. John just described it moments earlier, and nobody acknowledged him. There was then an angle dangle with Brian. Now I've got rumpusing being talked through the top of by Bev. He's got a mental problem because I'm still in the middle of the same sentence. So it's not like I'm going to get to hear you. I'm still talking. So, but you think that talking through the top of me is going to distance this fact? Yeah. I'm asking if you appreciate that is how the maths functions. John described it earlier, and we're talking about a derivation from surface level. The level surface, end quote, Jesse Kozlowski. Now, you're saying that's the canal. Okay. And I'm asking further to that, given that you appreciate that there's a level surface involved. Yeah, the canal. Yeah, okay, we all got that. Do you appreciate that is how the dip, yeah, the drop, the thing that we're all arguing about and talking about, is derived in the maths? It's a derivation from surface level, utilizing eye level. The derivation thereof gives you a point in calculation below the surface level that you used initially. And I'm asking if you appreciate that before we move forward. Bev, no one else. Just a no will do if you don't.
I said I had to nip to the toilet. I'll be back in a minute. What were
You
you
are
going on
about as
about?
useless as the turd you're about to lay, Bev, frankly, as far as I'm concerned.
What?
Nathan, you're wrong. That is not
So
what
he was
Kozlowski was saying.
defecating.
That is not what Kozlowski was saying, and it's not what Bev was trying to point out. He didn't say, he wasn't referencing eye level and surface level. That's not what he was referencing. He was creating a tangent underneath his feet. And
You're
stating
wrong. I
that
think
tangent is
Nathan
touching...
was absolutely right.
Hang on, Johnny, please. That tangent is touching the canal at one point, and the water of the canal will then drop away at a rate of 8 inches per mile squared from that horizontal tangent. Not
okay.
a line, it's not eye line, not eye level.
Yeah, I know it's not eye line. I know it's not. Yeah, the tangent point you're describing, Brian, how is that described in the mathematics? What would you label that tangent line that you're describing from your feet? What's it called?
The tangent.
No, it's not labelled. Stop. Everyone else, stop. No, it's not labelled tangent.
You're asking me what is the tangent called?
For this maths, yes, that's correct. The tangent from your feet that you just objected to, saying this is not
horizontal.
No, it's not labelled horizontal either.
They can't call it horizontal, but they do.
That's not what it's labelled either.
Horizontal.
No, that's not what it's labelled in this maths. No, it is not.
Yes, it is, Nathan.
So if I bring up a diagram and show...
away from
Can
the
everybody
horizontal.
else be quiet? No, Brian. No, it's got a specific title. It's labelled surface level.
No, that's not what Kozlowski's talking about, Nathan.
That's what this maths is.
Yeah, that's not what he's talking about, though, is it?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Jesse Kozlowski is arguing for 8 inches per mile squared drop, which is a differential calculation in a summary form that has been extrapolated at great length by Adam, so we don't need to get into that wrangle-dangle. We're talking about the drop of Earth curve at 8 inches per the mile squared. That is what we are talking about, and that is what Jesse is arguing. That calculation is an approximation, as I get rumpus to all shit. Somebody remove this dickhead who didn't respond to a question and went for a poo. Just remove this asshole. I'm in the middle of talking.
Go for a shit, Nathan.
Just shut up. That's how this maths functions. Right, I'm just going to remove whoever's talking through me. Neil, just get out. I'm serious. Brian's wrong, and I'm going to correct him. That is what Jesse Kozlowski is using. He's using a derivation from surface level. That is the tangent that Brian is describing. That is this mathematics that gets abbreviated to 8 inches per mile squared for a drop of Earth curve from your feet. That is what he's arguing for. This is the maths for it. Surface level is that tangent. I am correct. It's surface level. Now, that's where I'm about to fight off every bloody white knight that's trying to get in on this action while I'm trying to qualify with Bev at this stage that he has qualified what surface level is with the canal. Now, the difference between eye level and surface level will be extrapolated out into this 8 inches per mile squared claim that Jesse's making. Okay? We all clear? Any other objections? Bev?
Yeah, there is. I have an objection.
Bloody
I have an objection.
fire.
Yeah, you're wrong. That is not what Kozlowski... Kozlowski is talking about a dropping away from that level. That's what he's calling that a horizontal.
I know he is.
Hang on, leave me finish. Leave me finish. He's calling that a horizontal, and there's a drop away of 8 inches per mile squared.
Yeah,
That's
no
what
shit.
From that horizontal.
Yeah, no shit.
And he's calling the drop away the surface level because he's begging the question and claiming surface level is a curve.
No, I don't care if you infer that that's what he's saying. That is not what the maths does. If he is saying that, which is not...
I'm talking about what Kozlowski said.
Yeah, I know what he said. I heard him.
I understand it.
Yeah, he said the surface level drops away. Yeah, I understand what he said. right? Surface level is level, right? There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about what surface level is going to be. If you now say, no, but by phraseology, surface level is curving, no, that's an oxymoron. Even I'm still talking. That oxymoron's not going to fly when I know how the maths works. No, the surface level isn't taken from a curve to derive the 8 inches per mile squared, which isn't even the maths of the derivation of R as maths has been explained by Adam on Bullbusters. That's not what we're talking about. When he claims the 8 inches per mile squared abbreviation, he's talking about the drop from your feet at 8 inches per mile squared. That's Earth curve. I know what he's talking about. That extrapolation does, fact, come from what you're calling a tangent point, which is labelled in the maths as surface level. That's a fact. That is the maths he's doing if he's talking about 8 inches per mile squared. And I'm still rounding out my point and getting interrupted by Bev. That is what he is talking about. The way that maths functions is to derive surface level by use of eye level running parallel with it. That is where you get your point that can be extrapolated out into a claim of 8 inches per mile squared.
Is the 8 inch a measurement?
It's an extrapolation from... I asked you this, that's where we got originally. It's an extrapolation derived from eye level using surface level. I asked if you understood that, and there was a stony silence, and then you went for a poo.
Nathan, can I have a few seconds for clarification?
Right, that's it. Bev's you're getting muted, Johnny. Shh, you can't shut your mouth. Bev, do you understand that's how the maths works?
It's a measurement.
Oh, he's straining his words through the top of me. I want at least one clear air attempt at the question you've obfuscated 3 times. Do you understand that Bev, talking to you, not anybody else, that the claim he is making with an 8 inches per mile squared inferred drop from his feet requires maths that utilises a level line labelled in their maths as surface level, and the derivation from eye level to surface level. That is where you extrapolate out a point in the distance below surface level. That's a level line, straight, not bending, that they call Earth curve. Do you appreciate that's how the maths works?
Jesse Kozlowski is talking about a measurement of a drop.
Yes, I know.
From horizontal.
From surface level.
No, from horizontal.
So you don't know that's how it works because you're disagreeing with me.
Don't know how what works. I do know how elevation
let me answer you. How what? Sorry, Bev, you don't even know what we're arguing about and you're still talking. How what works, you say?
I don't know what you're arguing
about. So you're asking me how what works. That means you don't know what we're bloody arguing about, you dumbo.
You seem to be...
You stutter for me or shut up. Yeah, shut up with your stuttering. You don't know how what works. You don't even know what we're arguing about. The maths, the derivation between surface level and eye level. That's what we're talking about. What that is, that's Earth curve maths, Bev.
Me and Brian are talking about...
Yeah, maybe if you yatter through the top of this devastating point that you don't understand and didn't appreciate how we derive surface level and eye level calculations to extrapolate a point below surface level, it's called Earth curve maths, Bev. That's what he's doing. I don't care how he's phrasing it.
I call that, Nathan.
Yeah, that is what Jesse is doing. I don't care how you interpret what he says. That is how this maths that gives you 8 inches per mile squared works. Fact. It derives a point below surface level from a calculation using surface level, which is level, and eye level. That is how Earth curve maths, abbreviated to 8 inches per mile squared, works. Do you understand? Another stony silence. Maybe he's gone for a poo. Maybe he's eating his dinner. Maybe his wife's making him a brew. You useless turd. Get lost. I'm muting you. You're an asshole. Get lost, Bev. You're a useless shit. Bev's no longer taking part in this conversation. That is how Earth curve maths is derived. You need a surface level. Bev says it's the canal. Yet level, according to what? The surveyor, when asked about how you qualify level with horizontal, yeah, a plane, a reference, Yeah, that's Earth. In this case, reference to the canal, level, flat. Like surface level in their maths. Yeah? Bev does not know that. He hasn't got a comprehensive understanding of how Earth curve maths works. That's why he didn't know what it was. God, it's exhausting dealing with Bev. Get to the point where I finally get to ask him, do you understand that how you derive Earth curve, that's the point labelled horizon in the begging the question maths they use, uses surface level that's flat. Yeah, I'm never going to get to that point, am I? I'm going to get a stony silence after 5 attempts. Well, it's lovely we've got stony silence now. Everyone else wanted to butt in the middle of that long, drawn-out, really difficult to have conversation. Now it's over. Everybody go silent. Well, thank you very much.
You can only flatten a wall, and that means to make the wall flat would be demolishing it.
Thank you. John got that absolutely spot on, and he was shut down by Brian. We've gone through how Earth curve maths multitudes of times. It's been on screen over and over again with a marked with an X labelled horizon point in front of you that's extrapolated down to just 8 inches per mile squared, which is strictly speaking wrong. And how'd you get to that point where you can just simplify what Adam did on Bullbusters to 8 inches per mile squared? Well, you need surface level. That's what you need. Well, how are you going to extrapolate these maths out with it? Well, with eye level, parallel to it. That's how it works. Do you understand that, Bev? Yeah, that's pretty much what we got when he was here, which is why he's been removed. "20 minutes and I'm going on John LeBon show, so if this conversation dies on its arse, I'm going to round out."
John LeBon? Yeah, maybe I can say something now. You got it out from your mind or whatsoever, from your body. That I was just want to talk about it. It's about, yeah, if you're talking about the tangent, then you are talking about curved lines. You're talking about the curved surface, and that they are using in the ball geometry. It's not real, but the definition of tangent line to it is how you measure curve somehow. But anyways, that I will point out in the same time is we have maybe 3 circles of equal altitude that is measured with elevation angle that is against 180 flat, absolutely flat reference line to the angle that you're pointing out to the heaven's body, the celestial body, the sun, for example. There's no question about it.
I object.
Why are we taking so long time?
No, you can't use this method to save lives at sea. We have waves.
Waves?
Yes, waves.
So there's waves on the ocean? Is that the argument?
No, it's Bev's argument.
Oh, shit. That's hilarious. That's so funny.
I don't think that was a shit argument. Definitely not mine.
Right. When we were talking about sea level, sorry, you said it changes. And I said, yeah, we appreciate that we've got waves and stuff. That was your objection. That's why I've unmuted you now that the subject's changed from the maths that you don't understand and we got stony silence. My bad. Got stony silence and you went off for a poo. Yeah. Now we're on to a different subject. Yeah, you objected based on what? sea level being a mean average? Yeah, and you said it wasn't the same everywhere else.
I objected
and
because you said
now
that was
it's me pointing out that they've got waves when Johnny describes areas of equal elevation. And before I've summarised the point, you've got your little Tourette's problem, haven't you there, Bev, in the middle of my sentence when I'm pointing out that your former objection, when the penny dropped, that it is that conversation where you objected based on the sea level not being level. And there it is again, you see, it's the devastating point that when it comes, Bev needs to put his little Tourette's act into effect. Right, Bev? It's the second time I've tried to point out that you objected based on the fact that sea level wasn't level, there was changes, it's an average. Yeah, so when, again, it's the third attempt. This is now the third attempt in a row where Bev has interrupted at the devastating point that he loses on, which is to say that Johnny's areas of equal elevation, I objected based on your objection that what? We've got waves and stuff? Yeah, that's what I put to you last time you objected with this objection that you're now, what, rumpusing for 4 attempts?
Talking about the
Yeah, 4 attempts is the 4th. Yeah, your argument about that sea level not being level, what with it being an average and that, Bev, is absolutely crap. I agree, Bev. What's that? It's a crap argument, you say? Yeah, I'll definitely be trimming out that and cementing it right next to where you put that argument to us, Bev. Crap, you say? Definitely the best point I could possibly round this show out. Yeah, I'll definitely trim those two things together, you say, Bev. Crap. What about the waves and stuff? Yeah, that was your objection, Dumbo. Remember? 4 attempts of rumpusing it hasn't managed to obfuscate the fact that you're an idiot, Bev. You were the one who raised that objection to me, yeah? Sea level ain't level, yeah? Waves and stuff, right, Bev? An average, right, Bev? Your crappy argument that's crap, right, Bev? According to you, it's crap. Yeah, that is your crap argument, you stupid man. Hello? Not so fun when you're rumpusing the actual point that you're absolutely held up flat against the wall with. Got your tongue now, Bev? Yeah. Only when I'm talking, right?
Well, I don't think your ad homs do anything.
Not an ad hom, non-responsive. Yeah, flat. Sea level is level. No objection's going to be raised from you about the waves and stuff with the average of sea level. It's still level, and areas of equal elevation as detailed by Johnny aren't going to be objected to you, the Dumbo, with waves and stuff. The average sea level is still level for the whole world, and you objected to it because you're dumb. Now it's crap, right, Bev? When I paraphrase your crap argument to Johnny that his areas of equal elevation aren't equal because of waves and stuff and averages of sea level and stuff, you say that's crap. That's your argument, you stupid clown. Hello? Response? No, only through the top of me, right? Tourette's, man?
They're not the same, though, Nathan.
What? Surface level being what we navigate when we deal with sea level? No, that's objectionable because we got waves and stuff, right, Bev? It's just an average, right, Bev? Not areas of equal elevation to save your life at sea because waves and averages and stuff, right, Dumbo? That's your crap argument, you moron.
The means aren't the same, Nathan.
So the area of equal elevation isn't an area of equal elevation there, Johnny. Yeah, it's not a crap argument anymore. We can't use this method to save our lives at sea, I'm afraid, Johnny. Definitely, they're not the same thing. Bev's got an objection to the crap that he put forward earlier.
That is the point.
No.
That's the point.
The point is that if you have 2 means and you try to marry them up, they won't be the same.
Oh, really? Can I field this one, please, Johnny? Excuse me, when we got 2 means and we marry them together, excuse me, can I respond to that, or is it just Tourette's? Just Tourette's through the top of it and Johnny? No, what about when we put 2 areas of equal elevation over the top of it? 2 circles. You're saying they're...
I love it.
Excuse me, they're not the same level there, Bev, you think? It seems like your ignorance of celestial navigation's getting the better of you. Maybe if you rumpus this.
No, I'm talking about means measured in reality, Nathan.
Well, like areas of equal elevation measured in reality with respect to surface level. Excuse me, I'm just in the middle of just demolishing your garbage argument with celestial navigation there, Bev. Do you mind?
It's nothing to...
Just the Tourette's, right? No, you don't want to listen to it. It's only the Tourette's response over the top of it. No, circles of equal elevation there, Bev. Do you want to address those? Because they're not the same, apparently, according to you.
I'm just talking about the actual means that are measured from the sea level.
Yeah,
Nathan.
yeah. Two areas of equal elevation, and we're going to point our sextant at the horizon and take two completely different circles over the land that's below two different stars.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, is it not? Well, when I'm talking about massive areas of the world that's being measured flat, it's not what you're talking about. No, it's what I'm talking about, Bev. I'm asking you to address what I'm talking about. Maybe we could talk about how those areas of equal elevation over a vast area are definitely the same level. Yeah, they're all flat, Bev. Like the world, and how we're measuring it flat. We're using the fact that it's flat to measure those angles. Did you not realise that, Bev? Those are two circles
that's what you're telling
on the same level, Bev. You said they weren't, and it's about the mean or something. Like what, mean sea level? No, these areas of equal elevation, they're overlapping. And they're both the same level, Bev. It just makes what you said stupid. They are the same level, Bev. You're just moronic. But, you know, what with the sea level being different and that doesn't change how we navigate across the whole of the world. All on one level, Bev. All the same level, all flat. You understand that now, right? You said they could differ because of the, you know, objection that's crap that you put up with the waves and the mean sea level. No, it's all still navigated on the same level, Bev. I just want to check that you understand it's all still flat. Just want to make sure you understand that. Now, your Tourette's has ended.
Okay, so is the 8 inches measured from
So it's all flat when we navigate, not back to a different subject there, Weasel. All flat. All on the same level.
I came to find about the 8 inches.
I'm talking about how we actually navigate and save lives at sea, not the bullshit that you come against in the politics server when you talk to ball-believing numpties who derive that 8 inches per mile squared from surface level. When I asked you about this last time, Bev, there was a stony silence, and now it's like a lot of interruptions through the top of that, which you gave me a stony silence to last time. Yeah, those claims that you're now trying to obfuscate this point with were derived from surface level also, Bev. Yeah, so we're definitely talking about level. It's all the same when we're navigating. It's not about 8 inches per mile squared derived from surface level and eye level, that point that you went for a poo on and then gave me a stony silence with. It's not that point that we kicked you out of the conversation when you ignored it twice. No, we're just talking about navigating everything on the same level. You said something about it not being the same level because of means or something. That would piss in the face of Johnny's point when we measure 2 or 3 areas of equal elevation. That would be tens of thousands of square kilometres all on the same level, Bev. Now, you disagree because of waves and stuff, that crap that you said was crap. But I want you to understand that they are the same level, Bev. It's all flat. You understand? We're not talking about the derivation from surface level, 8 inches per mile. We're talking about how it's all flat and on the same level when we navigate it, Bev. Just make sure you understand how flat it all is. All 3 circles that overlap. You were babbling on about means and waves and stuff. Go, Bev, go.
How'd you get a circle?
What, 2D measurement off a flat plane with respect to angles and surface levels? Well, you just point a sextant at the horizon and measure your angle, knowing that Earth is flat.
You get a circle from an angle.
Yeah, circle of equal elevation. Bev, your ignorance in regards to celestial navigation is embarrassing. Yeah, that's the circle of equal elevation that Johnny was talking about a moment ago until I interrupted him and said, no, Bev's got an objection about waves and stuff. No, that would be an area of equal elevation, a circle derived from an angle, Bev. Yes, you're so stupid. When it comes to this subject, it's untrue. Yeah, Earth's flat in this regard, Bev. We're measuring it flat. And we're deriving angles from a flat plane. Maybe if you rumpus the living crap out of the very thing that destroys your premise as a YouTuber, maybe it will not happen. It will still happen, Bev. Yeah, we are dealing with Earth and measuring Earth flat with celestial navigation. That's how it's dealt with and measured. Yeah, it has to be. So otherwise, it wouldn't work. When we make circles. Yeah, when I addressed the point that you were asking about making circles with angles, Bev. Maybe if you talk through the top of this, yeah. Maybe if you put your little Tourette's act on through the top of this, it won't alter the fact that this basically destroys everything you think you've got unique about your channel. It will still destroy that fact, Bev, because Earth is measured flat. Not flat, like has to be flat or it wouldn't work to get those circles from angles when we measure Earth flat, Bev. That's right, we are measuring Earth flat in celestial navigation. We are putting circles that are all on the same level over the top of each other. Yeah, that's right.
I'm measuring an angle.
Yes, Bev, yeah. Yeah, it's something we're doing with angles. You're a moron. You think we can do F all with angles, even though we can save our lives by measuring Earth flat with them. Yeah, that's right. We're doing things with angles, Bev. I know you've got plenty of sound bites of your ludicrous, moronic notion that you can do F all with angles, but in reality, this is us doing something with angles, and yes, we're getting a circle with it. Yes, that's right.
Still don't understand that process. But...
Yeah, you're dumb. We know you don't understand this process. You go around telling the whole YouTube arena that it's not flat, even though it's necessitated to perform this function with navigation, Bev. It must be flat. It can't not be, or it wouldn't work, but you're going around saying not flat? I mean, that's why we kind of look down on you like you're stupid, because we're explaining to the world how it must be flat, because that's how it's measured, but you say, but if I measure how deviations from flat show the ground isn't flat, Earth isn't flat, when in navigation we measure it flat and navigate with it flat and it's derived flat. The two-dimensional system uses the fact that Earth can be measured flat to give you an angle to a star so you can derive a circle of equal elevation, the thing that Johnny was talking about. Until we all laughed at you about these circles that save your lives and that, waves. So no, you're not going to save your lives with this circle that's flat. And the same as the other circle you'll draw. Yeah, circle.
So you can save lives with circles too?
Yes, Bev.
You can do lots with these angles, can't you?
I'll definitely be trimming that one out. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and Cheapest Panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams. Hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!